It's like the third time I've been referred to as Rain Man on this podcast.
Sorry, Dylan, makes you feel any better. I won't use DoorDash because of Terminator 2.
Hunter, why are you sweating so hard?
Hunter, dude, what's going on?
Man, I'm just feeling stuck. Like, stuck and stagnant. Yo, 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 yo. Guess what? I did it again with the yo-yo intro, because that's how we do it.
Unoriginal.
Welcome
Sorry,
back.
you weren't here last week and Brady did the same
Did
thing.
he do the yo?
so
It's just
he
so
did.
comforting
He
to do
did.
the yo.
It feels new to me.
That's what I needed. That's the energy I need, guys. Not this fucking, we don't like the yo's. But welcome back to Stuck and Static, you all. It's glad to have everybody back for this week's episode. Today we are joined by a very beautiful, talented, sexy denim wearing bastard over there.
That's not Brady.
Yeah, that's not Brady, but taking the spot right there. It is Mr. Taylor Watkins, everybody.
Thank you.
That's
Thanks
what
for
I'm
having
talking
me.
about.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
I hope Brady doesn't mind me sitting here tonight.
No, if
No, he's
anything,
okay.
you literally have the exact same style. So
Cool.
Yeah.
you're honoring his memory right
Anything,
now.
it might
love it.
smell over there. So if it does, he apologizes ahead of time.
I'm glad you said something. I didn't want you to think that I did that.
Right.
It's a
No,
smell
we
of-
know. We
smell
know
of
what
sex and wild
right,
turkey
we know
over
what
there.
Brady smells like.
Is that a Marcy's Playground song?
But welcome, Taylor. It's good to have you, man.
It's great to, honestly, we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad to finally be here.
So long, and I feel like either I was in a spot where I couldn't do it, or you were in a spot where you couldn't do it, or mainly most of the time I was in a spot where I couldn't do it. So, dude, I really appreciate you coming through and making it finally happen, man.
Cheers to
Absolutely,
that.
cheers,
Yes.
everybody.
Yeah,
There we go.
cheers.
Hell
cheers,
yes.
guys.
Cheers up.
Yeah, cheers up. Might
Yeah,
as well.
cheers.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Come by this bitch up.
We got the old fashioned today, folks. Feeling pretty good. Spend a little extra money for the guests, you know what I mean? But
So-
go ahead.
I understand you two were in a adult film together.
Close.
And this is
Oh,
how
God.
we found each other. And
I
the
guess
love
you can call it that.
blossom from that.
He's definitely a grower.
Is he?
I was surprised. That's
I would
for
say
sure.
you were much more racist with hair.
Yeah, no. That is right.
Oh,
I gotta say,
That was a
you've
hell of a
come
script.
You've come a long way. If you want to see Hunter's development through the years, we'll post that video and just so you know, we shaved his hair for a reason.
let's just give nobody
You put
context.
hair on this guy.
No, you have to go watch the video.
Yes.
It could be an adult film, and we could have hair. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, like you handle those hedge trimmers like a fucking
Okay.
boss.
Oh,
so
wow.
when that happened, we had to do that shot.
Yeah.
So just so everyone knows context, we made a video, about like 6 years ago now?
Not porn.
Yeah.
We were, so a buddy of mine who me and Hunter met through, Joe Whalen.
Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe. Me and him were on just a video making kick. We were in school for photography and met Hunter and a couple of his buddies, and we made this short film that had all sorts of weird, just,
What was the title of it again? What do you remember?
yeah, it was The Realizer Effect. Yeah.
Let's go.
It was
you-
some
did you
Clockwork
guys-
Orange shit.
Yes,
just
it
some,
sure was.
some weird, trippy stuff that me and Joe were into.
Were you
Oh,
guys
man.
just like writing the part of a racist, and you're just like looked up and saw Hunter? You're like, there's our guy.
Well, I had the script between choosing if I wanted to be the racist or the rapist. So
Oh, okay.
it was a hard
Yeah, it was-
one
it
there.
was
We tossed a
2016.
coin.
It was a little different.
We
Yeah.
tossed a coin.
And I debated it because I was like, who gets more screen time?
But yeah.
It was one of those roles to where I'm glad it wasn't like the GIMP scene in Pulp Fiction for that one guy, that first acting scene.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would have been a.
We did get some bloodshed on the.
yeah.
Yeah, so on the shear that we were talking about, so David, we had to do this shot to where I'm threatening David. I'm being this just racist asshole, and I'm just like, man, like, and then
Probably David or something, right?
yeah, David.
Oh yeah, dude. It really was.
Yeah, it was. It's the only Mexican we do.
Pretty sure you threw water on his back. That was an interesting choice.
Yeah, it was a lot of cinematography there going on that was layered with whatever that was. But
something deep with it.
yeah, it was definitely there's context. But so the scene called for me attacking him with the shears, and Joe was like, now just get in there. And we kept doing the scene. He's like, get a little closer. And then it came to the realization that, oh, this is going, like, these are real shears going to, ain't prop shears, dude, like going near David's neck.
Yeah.
And at one point, it like kind of cut a little bit, and
got a
no
little
stunt
excited,
doubles,
yeah.
baby.
Yeah, no stunt doubles. We did our own
Fucking
stunts.
Stunt doubles. Yeah, that was a good time, but that's how we met.
Yeah.
And then
So how did you find Hunter then? Like, how did you go from project to like, oh, there's a guy with a mustache?
yeah,
Well, he was a guy with a mustache, that's for sure.
that's true. And I had hair then, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we just shot the shit. I mean, it's hard to find funny people in this life, honestly. And once you find somebody who can just honestly make no sense with you and commit, and that was cool. So we just bumped into each other off and on throughout the years from that, and then here we are. Honestly, this is probably the most we've sat down since the video.
Absolutely. I swear, a lot of it's been through just Instagram or texting or just checking in, or you'd run into Drake's and stuff, and I'd be serving or something.
Exactly.
And
it's a very powerful video.
Oh, dude,
holding together this friendship.
It was just. It was. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as much as we're fucking joking about this video, I swear I still get people texting me about that.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "I just showed some of my friends that," and I think they still show it at the college too.
You guys won that, like, kind of, wasn't it like a?
It was just from a class thing. I think we got like whatever.
No, Taylor, you won.
And they, we won that. We are very famous because of it.
Best.
No, but they ended up showing it at like 21C or something.
Oh, no way.
I don't know.
They do it in their little dark room.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that film in there for sure.
It was
playing on 3 screens at the same time with like an 8-second delay.
Exactly.
They do just cuts of porn, and they're just making it a lot deeper. Like Shears' dick, and then back to Shears.
I've lost myself inside of that little dark hut that they have in 21C. There was like a video they had in there where there was just like random actors just like reading the same script, just like for like hours, just the same thing. Oh, just actors. And I sat in there for like an hour.
So they got you.
They got you.
Yeah, no, I wasn't waiting for anything. I was just like, I'm gonna see who gets his role because it's clearly fucking important.
He was in his own that I was crazy video. Like,
yeah.
You seen those?
No, what is
Where
that?
it's just an endless loop. It's like I was crazy once.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that. It was like the same thing, hearing the same thing over and over, but then someone would do it differently. You're like,
Yeah.
But it spoke to you.
it did. It really did. It's
guess
That's all that
so,
matters.
Or he was having an aneurysm.
Yeah, I mean, whatever art is, right? What is art? What are we talking
It's
about
subjective,
here? Yeah,
dude. Anything
right?
can be art. Look,
Right.
side carpet.
You got your
Fuck
racism,
that
and
shit.
that guy got his rapism like cured in that video.
Wow,
Well,
that is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
racism was cured in that.
Yeah.
We did make a difference.
Yeah,
I
think
hope so.
Yeah, we did. I gave him a truck at the end of that video.
I don't know if Ryan's changed much.
But so we did that video. We kind of talked on and off, and then out of nowhere, man, I did not know how musically inclined you were.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, dude. I thought like you guys had killed it with the video so much. I was expecting you to be doing more stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I see you doing shows. I see you tearing it up. I see you releasing singles. How soon after, kind of like, was it after college that kind of, or have you always kind of been wanting to do that?
Yeah, good question. No, I mean, music's been my whole life pretty much all the time. But then, for college, I definitely took a focus in photography and met Joe and all that shit. And that was great. But I guess for me, I was still playing every week in town solo. So at like Lina's, I was playing every Wednesday night at Lina's.
This was during school?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So every like Wednesday, I think my sophomore year I was playing there, and then my junior year I was playing every Thursday night up there, and then would play like campus pub, and I ended up working at this place off of Richmond Road that's no longer there called Life Brew Pub.
Oh yeah,
And
I remember Life Brew.
Yeah, that was kind of like a hub for a lot of musicians and a lot of the homies who I still keep in touch with, who we'll talk about probably a little bit later. But that spot was basically just like this brainstorming hub of all these musicians, and we formed basically a couple different bands came out of there, and then we had an open mic night that we hosted. I hosted a comedy open mic every Wednesday. You probably see some of those cats that were there all the time. It's still some of the people that I see doing stand-up around here. But honestly, just been hitting the music hard. And long story short, right when we graduated, the drummer who I'd worked with since 7th grade, he was...
Work with as in like the band-wise?
Yeah,
Okay.
So he had always been my drummer since we were little kids, and he moved down to Nashville to be a sound engineer. And between my junior and senior year here at Kentucky, he was like, hey man, because of where I'm at with my audio engineering degree, I have some access to some really cool studios down here in Nashville. Do you want to move here between your last year of college and then once you graduate, like move down here for good to like pretty much make use of this time that we had in the studios?
Wow, what a big move though.
Yeah, and I grew up around Nashville, so I was always kind of like, am I going to go back to Tennessee, kind of see how that is, and ended up going back there. I'm not in love with Nashville, and I could spend 30 minutes talking shit about Nashville on the podcast, but it was a great opportunity for me to record down there. And we ended up building a studio down there. Mostly my drummer did the work on this fantastic studio that we ended up recording our second album out of. And once we got that second album done, we were kind of just done living there. And when I say we, it was me and my partner. She and I met last year, Kentucky. And we had always talked about like, yo, once we're done recording, what's the next step? And we started living out of a van. And that's kind of where we're at now.
No way.
Yeah, so we did that for 4 years.
Let's talk shit about Nashville.
You want to? I'm all about it.
Ashy Nash,
Let's get
dude.
it fucking into it.
You guys, I can tell you all
Yeah.
the secrets. I've seen some
no state
shit.
income tax though, right? That's pretty chill.
Tennessee's
know.
like that too?
Yeah. No
Yeah.
state income tax.
Oh man, I get to keep an extra $5 on my check?
right.
Fuck.
But doesn't Dolly Parton take some or something like that?
No, I'm pretty
Or
sure
it's
that's
no
a thing.
property tax.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
Yeah, because I think sales tax is pretty high there.
I don't think there's any
Sales
taxes
tax
down
is
there.
state
Really
income
Oh, I
tax,
got you,
though.
state income
Yeah,
tax.
yeah,
Sales
so-
tax is really high.
Right.
but-
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you have a guitar, you get tax free down there. I think
Exactly,
That's what it is.
and
Something
a
like
free
that.
blowjob
'Cause
as
that's the
soon
only
as
way
you
I can
move.
see everyone live in the fucking Nashville, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone down there has a guitar and can sing. I went to a karaoke bar one time there, signed up for it, and forget about it, though.
Yeah.
I was.
That's a mistake.
Everyone was
That's
just,
a mistake.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Like, it was.
Keith Urban walks in there.
Dude, I was like, what the fuck? And then I had to
Yeah,
go
what's
on
the
after.
vibe like in Nashville? Because I hear Nashville's getting big and all this stuff, people moving there. But is it like it's like big like stadium country act type thing where it's like most like.
What do you mean
most of the
stadium?
money-
What did you? What
I mean, like the vibe I hear from Nashville is that like, oh, obviously country music, right? Big over there, but like, what's your beef with it? Is it too like, I don't know. How to say
It's
it.
well,
It's like being an actor in LA.
the easiest way to say it, and I mean the most straightforward thing is that it's a tourist town. It's not meant for the people that live there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very like transit city, so everyone's driving through it all the time.
Right.
So it's like I worked maybe 5 minutes down the road, and in the morning I would get there in 5 minutes, and then when I would leave, it would take me over an hour.
Oh my
And just
God.
shit like that. I mean, it's like as much as I'm like an
drives you
old
crazy.
grandfather talking like, oh, the fucking traffic. I mean, once it's like your everyday life for like 2 or 3 years, it's like, I don't think I need this anymore.
yeah, yeah.
And I just, that's one of the main reasons. Just working was miserable down there. We were just pretty much the band I was with at the time. We play alt rock, so it's like we knew we weren't gonna break into the music scene in
see.
Nashville.
Interesting.
And like I said, like I knew I was down there to record, so it was like I don't expect to get famous in Nashville. I didn't even play that many shows in Nashville.
yeah.
It was more just like this is the hub. And then we were like when we graduated, most of our shows at that point was playing like colleges. So we were traveling down to like Georgia and Alabama and Virginia and like
Okay.
playing frat parties and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And I mean, we were having fun, but we just, all of the fun for me was like when we got out of the city.
I see.
And it's like Broadway, the street that has all the honky tonks and the crazy, just every bar has a band
Yeah.
playing. It's all the same cover songs, and it's like to each his own, but it's like
You don't like
that-
every single cover song played every time at every
you don't
bar?
like
Exact-
Wagon Wheel?
Dude.
What's wrong with you?
What? The devil goes down to Georgia
Neil
again?
Diamond?
Yeah, right.
You son of a bitch.
But no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and I could probably have a lot more fresh things to say. It's been a couple of years since I've been down there, but it was just time for me to leave. And it wasn't, my saying is like, it wasn't the music city, it was the music industry city. And it taught me pretty much everything I needed to know, that there was no passion and like the main like guts of why I do this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
None of that was
That's
present
why I
down
say
there.
like stadium country, like
Okay.
the vibes where it's like
pop country, for
yeah,
sure.
you know,
All it
Toby
is
Keith
pop
rolls
country.
in and
Yeah,
everyone
yeah,
loses
yeah.
their fucking mind.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
the
more or
vibe.
less developing about the artists and the message, and more about how to gain and like more the producer side of it, like more of like
exactly
the okay.
It's all a
like the
marketing
connection
scheme.
exactly and the connections are there, and I'll probably always go back to Nashville for this or that, but it's never going to be for like, oh, I'm going to break into the scene or I'm going to change the mind of
Yeah,
everybody down there. It's like I just know that there are great producers down there, there's
Yeah.
great studios, and there's part of the scene you kind of have to play the game
Yeah.
a little bit down there. And that was kind of for me being young and right out of college, like I didn't want to do that. I didn't
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
like I knew I wanted to play music, but I knew I wasn't going to start, writing songs for the top.
You just
20
crushed it in the
country
movie
people.
industry. Why are you gonna let them talk down to you like that?
Exactly. We just put out
Yeah,
this
just put
fucking Oscar-winning film.
I know you walking on the street would have been tough. It was for me.
It honestly,
Especially at,
for the
21C.
first couple
He
months,
still
and
acts
then
like he's a fucking movie star. You see him. This is the first time he's matched in like a year.
Hey, what's
I'm
your
glad you
fucking
dressed
deal?
up for me.
Dude, we just gotta like comment on your outfit every
What's
time.
what's
The fact that you,
get a
got
pair
purple
of
and
new
purple.
shoes?
You
Okay.
notice this is the only time since we've been in this studio, or no, since he has moved in here, that he has
bathed?
showered before the pod.
Listen to me.
Say, you
That
smell
is not
great.
because I want to
that's-
have sex with you. Going on, man.
I've never seen
Hey.
him go this far out of his way. This tight of a shirt with
I
the
put on
purple
deodorant,
on
too.
purple on the sneakers over here.
That's fucking
Dirty
nice.
ass Goodwill purple.
He's
Nike
coordinating.
sneakers over here.
He smells like soap.
Yes, sir.
We're on the up and up.
He's got that Irish Springs, baby.
I was about to say that.
We gotta get guests in here. We gotta start getting guests in here more often. God.
You guys just tricked me that there's a guest.
Yeah, just
your idea,
oh yeah, we
Hunter.
got a really important
I
person
even used the
coming.
flushable wipes upstairs. I was like, I don't in case I sit next to him.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Are they really flushable though?
They really aren't though. let's be
no,
real.
that's it's
Yeah.
a fucking lie.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm wearing a
But
barbell.
I'm still gonna fucking flush them.
I'm gonna flush shit out of
No
Even if
one's
they
ever
don't
like
say
no one
it.
ever stops to think of how amazing it is that you never have to look at your shit ever again. Like it is out of you and it's gone miles away before you can even fucking notice.
I don't know. I think it's a
While
little,
those same people will voluntarily pick up their dog shit with a
Yeah.
thin plastic bag and
Right.
carry it around for miles.
Yeah, right.
I'm not that guy.
that's
what I'm
kind of
saying.
a hustle though.
I literally interact with my dog shit more than my own regularly.
You got some decent sized probably turds coming out of those things too.
Of my dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's got
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
bro. Oh, me?
No.
I mean, like, you know,
Damn.
I shit like a deer sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see you having a
yeah,
little dribble.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Little
Just gotta,
kibble,
you know,
little kibble and bit.
'cause I don't eat enough rice. That's what it is.
We'll talk about it later. But so you're down in Nashville and you're kind of like seeing that you're growing kind of out of that. All right, I'm in Nashville
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
vibe. You know what I mean? So where for you, if you're saying, you know, the passion wasn't there, you weren't really surrounded, like, cause it sounds like honestly, you got a lot more experience just in those dive bars with those guys all like at Life Brew or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like when you're there with everyone who's just grinding.
Yeah,
Look
can
at
you
the
compare-
fucking introspection on this guy.
He's trying real hard.
I know.
can
He's,
tell.
it's
Yeah.
good.
He's taking
I'm
Brady's
feeling
spot.
it.
We're coming for these
He's
fucking
using
hands,
100%
dude.
of his brain right now. It's
But,
real tough on him. He's sweating. I can feel it.
That's just pure
Bro,
testosterone.
can you compare like the Lexington scene to the Nashville scene in that way? Like, did you find it easier to like, okay, let me collaborate with some artists here
Oh.
and start something? It's pretty easy to like start something.
So
here.
here's probably the main factor of separation. Here, you still have a lot of people who are just doing it for the sake of fucking doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone in Nashville is on a mission.
I see.
A-
Yeah.
anyone you bump into, anyone that's at your show,
Mm-hmm.
they're not at your show to support you. They're at the show to fucking take a picture that they were at the show and meet the people that you know at the show.
I
Like
see.
it's always
wow.
networking.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always networking. Like we would be at album release shows where it'd be like a house party or something and there'd be like 300 people at this house, like packed to the brim.
Damn.
And then the band's releasing the album downstairs, but everybody's upstairs taking pictures
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that they're at the album release show. Like that's in my and everybody's got different experiences. I think there's different levels of like, you know, if I were to stick around Nashville, I have friends who I probably would have spent more time around and try to make a scene with them and then really dedicated my time there, but it just wasn't as genuine and it felt so much like we would be fighting against the grain all the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
that it's
right.
like I told my band right when I moved down there, I'm like, we're not going to waste any time trying to do this. Like we're going to
Yeah.
go play small towns in
Yeah.
every which way direction
Well,
and
for-
make
that's
a name
gotta-
for us that way.
For that to feel that apparent, that had to have been like easy. Cause you know, like when you go to any place, there's going to be some networking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for it to be like, I can't imagine every place you go, it just feels like you're in a room full of business cards. You know what I mean? In a way.
Well, and too, the thing is, it's not just like it's all bullshit either. I mean, a lot of people, you know, even if they were writing shitty songs or their lyrics didn't have any purpose behind them, or
They have no place to grow.
or if they, you know, never had the right inspiration to write about, these are still some of the most fucking talented people
Yeah.
you will ever meet in your life. That's also the thing. It's like you're not just dealing with like, oh, there's 80 people that signed up to do this open mic tonight. Every fucking 80 of them are going to be the best
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
ever heard. So
Right.
that's also, it's
Oh,
like,
wow.
it's like, okay, how am I any different here? And how am I expecting to break through when there's everybody you point to is going to be
Yeah, yeah.
better than anybody you've heard before? Which that's humbling too. And that's a lot of the learning. And that's why like there was a lot that I grew while being there. There was a lot that I learned, But at the same time, it's like, okay, when the time comes, it's like we knew we were ready to get out of there.
How would you describe Nashville in 3 words?
Packed, drunken,
Ribs.
traffic.
Chicken?
Yeah.
Hot chicken?
I was gonna say orange. Ugh.
Orange.
I actually worked at a
Oh,
chicken
gross.
shack in Nashville for
Did you really?
for a year. Yeah,
Was it good at least?
it was great. It's called McDougal's. I'll give them a shout out
There we
because
go.
they
McDougal's.
they never did me wrong. Honestly, they
See,
helped me.
that's where you went wrong. You should have got into the chicken business, not the music business.
I'm not kidding. My grandpa jokes about that. He ate there one fucking time, and he still to this day he's like, I still think like y'all should have tried to buy one of those McDougal's. I'm like,
Fuck this music thing.
Franchisees?
Look,
that's
hot chicken.
I've got a hot
demand
take real
everywhere.
quick. Side note.
Yeah.
Parents are so funny when it comes to dreams and aspirations because it's like I could have the best fucking song in the world and present it to, you know, all my friends and be like, look at this. This is fantastic. This is my art. This is my creation.
Yeah.
And they would be like, man, I can't give you any money. But then it's like, oh my God, let me pull out my wallet right now. Let's all get together and buy a chicken shack. Like this chicken was so good. I think we could be successful. I will drop everything right now to do this.
But honestly, that chicken sounds
Fuck your art.
delicious. That chicken sounds delicious.
The more that we talk about this, chicken sounds really good.
But how could we sell the chicken though? That song was great.
All right. Can you make a jingle maybe? We'll make a jingle for the chicken restaurant.
Yeah.
We're starting
Keep
to hit on
that
some-
creative mindset going for
Yeah.
when the chicken business is thriving.
I had something like that not too long ago. It was like the comedy, something with the comedy. It's never like the act in itself that my family promotes me on. It's the act of being able to make money around it. You know what I mean? So it's like, for instance, she was like, yeah, you're funny. But what if you were like,
Who?
mi madre. But she would be more
mom
like,
loves you so
hey, but
much.
what if you like help people find shows and was like an agent? It's like, I don't want to be an agent. She's like, I could help you do it. Yeah,
Literally,
like, come
like
on.
I'm not gonna help you get stand-up gigs.
Yeah.
But I came up with this idea that I think would be great for you.
I'm pretty sure my mom signed my neighbor instead of me. I was pretty upset about it.
It's so funny, and it's hard. Like obviously, they're the
Having an
most
Asian
supportive
mom,
people
dude.
in the world.
I'm
My God!
just saying, right? I'm just saying real quick.
So when you told her you were going to school to do the music, was she against that?
No.
No?
No. Plus, I had it all paid for, so I
Because you
was
still had to
can't
like
really do
work
anything.
a long time for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she made me play saxophone in the first place, so
No shit.
it's her fault. Yeah.
You play saxophone?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
well,
he rips it,
Let's
bro.
get him on a
He went to
record.
school for it,
Yeah.
man. Oh, get him in there ripping it.
Yeah. When did you grow up around here or?
So, I grew up near Nashville.
Yeah.
In 7th grade, moved to Cincinnati,
Okay.
and
Sin City, let's go.
honestly, I mean, again, Cincinnati, another cool place, just like Lexington, where when I moved away, I
Yeah.
didn't realize how cool it was until I was like, oh, because I mean, leaving Cincinnati,
Love
I
Cincinnati, man.
thought Lexington would be cool as fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I left. I'm like, oh my God, like Cincinnati had so much more of a music scene.
Yeah.
It had like genuine, like any type of genre, like any
So much
type
more
of
of
music you could
everything,
think of.
yeah.
And
You
it,
want some more bourbon, Taylor, by the way?
yeah, if you don't
Yeah,
mind,
yeah,
if you're
please.
doing, and basically then I left Lexington to go to Nashville and then was like, Lexington had such a good music scene.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it just felt like I had really good connections in
wait,
each of these places.
When were you like around Lexington in college?
So that would be, what was that? Like,
like
2014 to
Was that-
2018?
Yeah.
14, 18?
Yeah,
Okay.
so those 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember
Did you ever run into a band called Jandrigan? Maybe.
That
Or
sounds
Neighbor?
familiar.
Yeah.
Haven't played with them, but
Really?
at least I probably heard of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. That was my buddy's band in college. But yeah, and then I don't know if you've heard of Urameshi. We've had them on recently.
great group of guys.
Yeah.
Great group of guys.
If
Yeah.
you- if you're around, you might know Cam by like association. I don't know Cam's last name. Fuck.
Wow.
Yeah, horrible.
Sorry,
But
Cam.
you don't know either.
Oh, I know Cam's last name.
What is it then?
Stevenson.
You're bullshitting right now. You're bullshitting right now.
It's,
You can really
believe
tell
it.
when Hunter's
It's Johnson.
bullshitting. Yeah.
I'll never forget the Top Golf. Yeah, Cincinnati's like little Germany.
Oh yeah, dude, you should have seen him.
that was a
You should have seen
Top
him
Golf conversation if
when
I've ever heard one.
we had Dylan's birthday, and we all went to Top Golf in Cincinnati, and we had a server at. I guess they have servers at Top Golf.
What was his name? It was kick-ass name.
No, it's 2K. Literally,
2K, dude.
No association with the basketball game or any like
Was
franchise
this
at all.
the, sorry to interrupt, was this a Top Golf by the IKEA?
Maybe?
Yes, I think
don't
it was.
know. Was it?
The one out there by it's not. Is it not? It's not Florence. It's like in Cincinnati.
Oh, it would be
Yeah.
north of Cincinnati.
Is it north
Yeah.
of Cincinnati?
Yeah, you would drive through downtown and you would keep going, and then you'd see the IKEA and you take the exit pretty
Yeah.
much.
Maybe.
Gas.
That's where I'm from.
Hey,
Nice.
they
Hell
actually
yeah.
brought you up there.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
You guys know Taylor?
Yeah. Hey, you know
no
that
2K?
IKEA? He's been there before.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tell you.
No, this dude, our server 2K was like, "What's up, guys? My name's 2K. I'll be taking care of you today. I kind of have this infection on my leg, and he's got this fucking full blown infection going on in his leg."
But he was serving us, dude.
He was like,
was
"But I think I'll be all
grinding.
right. I don't think I'll have to leave to go to the hospital. If I do, I'll let you know." So he's just like taking care of
It's
us.
really hurting, but I'm
Right.
here to serve you guys. Well,
and then Hunter just like stops him for some reason. We're drunkenly playing golf, and he just like we just hear him talking to 2K about how like Cincinnati is like the Germany of America or
well, it's because
something.
the OTR, and I was kind of going.
my
what,
God.
what does that even mean?
Well, because the Rhine, the Germans used to take the Rhine over to go to their jobs when they first immigrated over here. It was a huge immigration spot back in like the early 1800s. So they used to all come over here and everything. And
2K's over here, literally getting
2K was
septic.
dying, bro.
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
was-
over. He's just like kind of like, all right,
Yeah,
bud,
right.
tell me your order.
yeah,
It's
his
like-
blood is infected.
So that guy's over there talking about Germany. I'm dying from staph.
I know. He's
And
just
so-
thinking, like, just breathe. Just
And then so on our way back home from there, we're trying to stop somewhere to watch the Bengals game or something.
Yeah.
Something that night. And we're like, like, you're a pretty cool guy. Like, you should come out with us. Like, where should we go? And he's like, well, I'll be at such and such bar.
Worst bar.
I'll be at such and such bar if you all want to meet me there. I'll be there as long as I don't have to go to the hospital. He
Yeah.
never showed up.
Yeah, we went
2K's
there.
never
dead.
showed up.
And we looked it up.
do we think that he went straight to the hospital?
Yeah.
It was really easy to
It
find
was
in the
also- yeah.
obituaries too, because it's like before A even. It's
Yeah.
2K, just right on the top. No last name, just 2K.
And it wasn't like spell. It was the number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was really crushing.
So, in all honesty, as cool as 2K was,
Yeah.
were you still kind of like keeping him at arm's length, you know?
Well, dude, I mean, he was
kissed
infected. Yeah, let's be real. Yeah, I'm not letting him scratch me. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, I was like, I heard if you smell it, you can tell if it's infected. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it didn't turn out well. He didn't like that.
But also,
He didn't have to do
like
much,
Hunter
though.
said, he
Yeah.
led us to the shittiest bar.
yeah.
Oh my
the
God.
worst place.
Kind of wild.
We came in there. There was 3 people watching it. One guy was hammered drunk, and I was just asking about sports the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, "Did we do good?" At one point, I saw the Heisman's, and I was like, "Guys, look who made the Heisman's!"
Yeah,
and it was like
yeah.
from 4 years ago.
It was really cute. It was
Yeah.
really cute.
I felt really cute.
Yeah. I don't know how big of a sports guy you are, Taylor, but Hunter tries to be, and it's really
Take a guess.
entertaining.
Take a
I'm
guess.
assuming about a maybe 5th percentile sports fan ish.
5th percentile.
I don't know
Yeah,
what that means
yeah.
either, Taylor.
That
I don't know where to
not
compare you 5th
really.
percentile
Really,
to.
I'm sorry, that's Asian for not really.
That's what that was on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I would say you're correct. Yeah, I played a ton of sports.
Really?
I'm
What'd you
still-
play?
I played baseball my whole life.
Word?
Played soccer and basketball until about high school, and then played baseball and lacrosse in high school.
I was
you know
about
the
to say you're
fundamentals.
lax, bro. I'm a lax, bro, too.
I was kind of a fake lax, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
No way.
Play lax, dude.
No, I mean it wasn't
the
that.
hair, bro. You got
I
the
was on.
flow.
So like I said, I moved to Cincinnati, right?
Right.
I was hoping
And
you'd take
I
that
was
off and
playing
get bald on
baseball,
top.
and I had always played on, growing up, select teams in Tennessee that were really good. So I moved up to Cincinnati, and my team fucking blows.
Yeah.
And it's just years of playing with these kids, and it's like I didn't want to switch select teams. Like that's enough work, and I was like, I'll just play lacrosse.
Yeah.
Like all my friends in my neighborhood had got me into lacrosse. Like I had a stick. I knew all like the tricks and stuff. And
Those
they're like,
neighborhoods were
why don't
way
you
cooler
just
than
go? Yeah, we
Everyone's
just
out-
beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
Oh, here we are playing with sticks, and
Broken
here we are
windows
beating each other
everywhere.
with sticks. No, but yeah, I feel like I'm happy I played lax, but like I definitely wasn't like the typical lax bro. But I
Oh,
did
yeah.
take it pretty fucking serious. I played attack.
Oh,
I
nice.
love it. I
Nice.
mean, I still would love to like play intramurals, softball, and
Yeah, yeah.
lacrosse, but
Do some ultimate lacrosse would be super chill.
dude, I used to
Ultimate
play
lacrosse?
indoor
Yeah, yeah.
back in the day.
Ultimate
Dude,
Matt,
indoor is
lacrosse.
you'll
something else.
die. Like
Indoor.
I would break a bone the
Yeah.
first game. Like
Indoor lacrosse is hockey without skates.
Yeah.
It's
people are
brutal.
evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Well, and everyone's still trying to go pro when they're 30.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
They're-
imagine.
it's like, dude, you've been an assistant coach of the community college. Like, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I made that mistake doing intramural
BCTC
basketball.
is not moving to Division 3. I'm sorry.
Go Mustangs.
Yeah, right.
Hell yes, dude. But do you feel like out of any of those sports, like do you feel like any of those kind of defined you at all? Like kind of that you pulled the most
Clearly
from?
not.
I mean, baseball was a huge one for me. It was like there was a.
Oh, he's a baseball guy. No, you're good. That was just that was a fist. That was a righteous pump.
I didn't know something was going on. I didn't know. Stop talking.
The Sieg Heil.
Baseball
almost.
was huge for me, and it was like there was a year when I was growing up that it was like those little papers you get at school that are like, I dream of being this when I grow up. Like there was a shift from like professional baseball player to musician. I'd always played guitar growing up, but I was like so into baseball, and I love baseball. Like I was actually really fucking good at it, but just
What position?
third base, and I started pitching as I got older.
Dog.
Oh, dude, I was like third base was my bread and butter, dude.
Ooh.
And I was always
corner.
clean up too. Always clean up batter.
Ooh.
Have to give my younger self a shout out. Is it really being cocky if you were like a little bitch?
No, I'm not hard, dude.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
But yeah, no. So cool. So, but yeah, no.
All
It
last
definitely.
weekend talking about high school wrestling, so it's okay. We're good.
fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool. Then I'm glad. I'll stroke myself for a little bit. But honestly, it's cool being good at stuff, and it's like coordination has been one of those things.
Absolutely.
It's like honestly, I've been
helps you
thankful
throughout
in my
life,
life where it's like, give me some sort of thing that needs hand-eye coordination, I can probably figure it out. Like ping pong, bowling, basketball, whatever. I'm a pool fanatic, so it's like shit like that. It's just like any competition. Like I thrive in competition.
Yeah,
I feel like you were born in denim with those favorites you had there. That's
Dude, give me a paddle and give me a paddle.
Bro, I'm not trying to pitch against you with the bases loaded. Look at you. You look like
Thank
Randy
you.
Johnson.
And
bro.
the thing for me is, I'll do it just to be a dick. I'm gonna hit a hit just to be that asshole. No, but honestly, I think the competition is one thing I miss from moving from just music, because music's my full-time gig now, and when I'm not doing shows, I'm doing handyman work. So carpentry, building, repairs, electrical, all sorts of dumbass shit. But then it's like when I think about sports and wanting to join like intramural stuff now, I'm like, I would definitely love just like a little fake softball league to go just get out my competition, because there's no, and just like I was telling you guys before, it's like no one ever tells you what you need to fix. It's like I need somebody to tell me what sucks every once in a while.
That's why I'm one of the baseball guys that turned into a big golf guy for that reason.
Okay.
Because golf, like, there's always something you can learn. That's what I love about it. Is like I get so obsessed about it because it's just there's always something I can fix. Yeah. And I'm such a perfectionist.
And as good as you are one day, you'll suck tomorrow.
Don't start about golf again.
Are you, that seems sarcastic.
No, this dude's a fucking animal out there. Every time I'm like, he's like, guys, we go out there and have fun. And I know for a fact, I went out there and started swinging, dude, Dylan would be like, yeah, that looks good. God damn it, can we get to the next hole?
Yeah.
But no, so
you act like it's Brady with wrestling. We
to
get a whole
it's
poster
not.
for wrestling.
we did
Brady's wrestling corner.
his wrestling corner.
Dude, I'm not one of those guys. I go out there and crush 6 beers in the first 9 holes, and I'm like, should I get any more at the turn?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to.
I cannot lie. On my 5th Miller out there, I was annihilating over the water, dude. I was looking at the water and I was going, fuck you, dude. I was like in it. Hopefully you don't have that many younger fans. I'm sorry. I'm just, you know.
I honestly don't know if anyone's going to listen. No, but
Sorry, we don't either.
80 people on YouTube.
Those 80 people are all senators.
No, and honestly, if there are any younger people listening, they need to go ahead and get exposed to this, because
It's fine. They've seen worse. They've had smartphones since they were a baby.
Right?
Exactly. I just wouldn't recommend clicking the link and watching the Realizer Effect. Our adult film is probably way too
It might be
much.
more stimulating to a mind that's been just stimulated constantly, seeing something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? It's
I don't
like a
know
little
if they
different.
would know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
I gotta-
okay. That's okay.
I got to tell you and I feel like you like this when we did that scene where the realizer effect scene.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
turned out so awesome. I remember going back at it and I was like, damn, I look jacked, but also the scene looks sick, dude. It looked like the like the way
I remember the first time he showed me that video. That was the first thing he said. He said, "Hold on, right
Pause
here.
it.
Look at this.
I've been
Look at
chasing
this. I
that.
look jacked here." I was like,
been chasing
Bro,
that
what?
ever since,
Hey,
dude.
I
I
did
did push-ups
watch the
before
We
video.
knew that when we were filming too. We got those angles on purpose.
Oh, dude, they were like, Hunter, get a couple push-ups in. And I was just fucking. I was in it, dude.
Oh my god.
But I
Get that
wanna
pump in.
I wanna hop back to you real quick.
Hit me.
So what you're kind of saying that you're fully living in North Carolina now?
Yeah, so I
Okay.
touched on it. We left Nashville pretty much right before COVID hit, and we decided to live out of the van. We did full-time living in the van for 4 years.
Was that kind of scary at first
Damn.
doing that? Like, were you like, damn, dude? Do you ever?
Honestly,
Did you
no.
did you remodel it or anything?
Oh yeah, like we.
Oh, that's badass.
It, would
That's
be,
fun.
it was like the honest, like if you looked up like the Instagram videos, like I was saying, I'm big into carpentry and stuff. So my grandfather has this really just full shop down in Alabama. So we brought the van down there, and it was kind of a project for us where when we got the van, we were like, oh, we'll do some traveling out of it, but we won't really start living out of it for like,
Now, were you already with your partner at this point?
yeah, we
Okay.
met right before graduation, and then we stayed together, and she moved to Nashville with me and did all that. And kind of we both made a decision that we were like, let's just go ahead and get a van. Like,
Yeah.
and also too, it's like once you're renting, and especially Nashville was like they were the hipsters of high rent for shitty places. And so we were just so
New York or the
tired.
South.
Exactly. We were tired of paying rent for a mice-ridden, cockroach, shitty,
God.
like lived with people who were smoking cigs in the room over,
Jesus.
like shit like that, where we were like, okay, maybe we don't want to be spending like $1,000 on that all the time. So got in the van. We started traveling to Florida and stayed down there. I had some shows booked down there. And we had all these plans when we were leaving Florida. And as we're leaving Florida, we start getting all these calls like, yo, you might want to check if your plans are still happening. We're like, what are you talking about? And then COVID happened pretty much. So we were kind of like this
yo,
is
Kobe
the
died.
perfect
Wanna check your
situation
plans.
for us. Because all of our friends in our Nashville neighborhood were like out of work, couldn't pay rent. And then a tornado fucking hit Nashville.
Oh, that's right.
In our neighborhood.
I remember
Like
that.
all of like right next to where I worked, every place next to us, the street over, destroyed. So it's like we missed it right after that. So we're already like, okay, we were supposed to be in the van. This is great. And now with COVID, instead of it taking all year to finish this out, we went to Alabama and just busted out the build in like 3 months.
Yeah.
So
So it kind of worked for you in a way.
Oh yeah, so we had like a full-size bed. We had solar panels on the top, full lights, outlets, refrigerator. We had a shower and a sink and all sorts of cool stuff. Did that for 4 years and was like, that was way too long to have done that for. Right. But used the traveling and the touring and the playing shows as an opportunity to kind of see like, where do we actually want to fucking live?
Yeah.
And found Western North Carolina, Asheville area. But just honestly, any of Western North Carolina, like we fell in love with just that whole area.
What was it about it?
We're just super into mountains, honestly. We love out west. We spent a lot of time, like we lived in Idaho for a while.
Super into mountains, dude. You into mountains over
Yeah,
there?
but out west, they're all
talk
like
shit to our guests.
deserty and there's
Yeah.
no trees. And like we love the trees and the forest, and all of our families like here in the South too. So it's
You like hiking, dude?
we've been known to hike. I've been known to have a paddle in my hand.
Bear
I
spray
love
on you,
that
do you?
area. I
Yeah.
love that area.
Yeah, and it felt like home. Found a really good community, and honestly, I had toured throughout North Carolina with my band, and that had been our best like exposure or best awareness, or
North
like
Carolina?
yeah, like our top cities. When I check like Spotify and Apple Music, it's always like all in North Carolina.
Okay.
So 2022, we decided, me and my drummer, I had left the rest of the band in Nashville at that point, and me and him were like, let's just do a North Carolina only tour. And so spent that as like a time to lock in the fans that were already
You were hustling
like,
for a little bit, man.
Oh,
You
dude, it
were-
was
You were
nonstop.
tearing it up.
yeah, there were 2 years in a row that I ended up playing like over 100 shows each year.
Oh man, that experience out there, I bet that was just, you couldn't trade that. You know what I mean? Like you were just
for sure.
How was the
That's
crowd
one of
and the energy?
That's one of those areas of the country that is underrated as far as like artsy people. Like
Yeah.
everybody appreciates it, and they appreciate it for what it is. Like you don't have to do the media stuff. You just have to do the music.
Yeah.
Like they appreciate that.
And that's honestly, I mean, that's kind of why I felt more at home there, because it's like I am being able to put more effort into the art than all the
Yeah.
craziness and all the bullshit side of
The
things.
marketing and the
But yeah, it's It's been cool. It's I don't know if I would love to plant roots there, and I think we will buy land and be full time there at some point. But we're kind of just like, we wanted to get out of the van. We're living in this tiny town called Black Mountain right now, right out of Asheville. And we're just like, we're going to pay rent for a year, live a normal life, and just try to like.
So that's where you're at full time right now.
Right now.
Black
Yeah.
Mountain.
Yeah. So still throwing events around in every which way, but mostly sticking out of there.
So to going out there, do you feel like, because everyone kind of grows as their life does with their music, you know what I mean? You kind of start developing more. You tend to find a different niche, Do you feel like when you went to North Carolina and you started like almost feeling that kind of, all right, I kind of want to be here. Do you feel like that kind of influenced your music because you weren't such a nomad at that point? Do you think like having roots and maybe your partner during that time period kind of influenced you at all?
I would say for sure. I mean, I'm not the type of person to, sit down and try to write a song. Like, I don't have my notebook out and I'm like, here today we're going to get pump one out, and it's, for me, it's like, I'll be playing guitar and then, idea will strike and then I'll hit record on my voice memos. And that's, maybe a song I'm about to release, coming up called Summer Breeze. Is a
shout
song
out Summer Breeze, baby.
Shout out Summer Breeze. Shout out the last single, Coyote. Check that shit out.
Coyote was fire, brother.
But like,
that
for
was
example,
nice.
those songs started like 2 years ago with just the chords on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I play them at every show, or I like little interludes where I just like play guitar or something, or like sometimes it shows too. I'll just start playing a song and I'll just freestyle the lyrics and be like, did that work or did it not? And then there's like, maybe I write a line this time that stays, and then I'll type that into my notes. I'm like, that's a line. That's a line. Like,
when did you start kind of improvising, like getting that kind of improvisation?
Improvisation?
Improvisatory.
I believe it's Portuguese. Improvisation.
Yes, you're familiar.
Yeah. Yes. That's where I recognize you from. But like, were you always like that? Or is that kind of after you did so many shows, you're like, or has that
That's
always
been a thing, honestly.
Okay.
More so back in the day because I think I was less stoned and my brain worked faster. I still do a lot of improvisation. God, you got me fucked now. But yeah, I still do a lot
to you. He'll do that to you.
Words are weird when you say them long enough.
We have contagious ADHD here.
Yes.
Well, then I'm the perfect candidate for this.
All comes from him.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of eye contact with you, so you will have autism when you leave here.
Hey, tricks on you. I'm actually giving you some more
Let's go.
right now.
You're in the neighborhood. I tell them all the time, if we were in the autism neighborhood, I'd be getting mail right next to him.
I'd be getting mail right next to
Yeah.
you. We probably some of my packages probably end up in your
Yeah.
house. You never know.
Dildos.
Oh my god!
I think this is your package. I kept it anyways.
Don't poke holes in this
Right.
package.
You can keep my next one.
But so how are you liking it out there? Have you was it hard to kind of get out of the van, and do you feel like too stationary at all, or do you kind of miss being up and moving?
No,
You
I'm
were-
glad to be stationary. 4 years was way too long. It was kind of like, COVID
That's a
hit.
long
That was
time,
kind of
brother.
like COVID was kind of iffy for 2 years. And it was funny because we lived up in like Maine and Alabama, then over to Idaho. And it's like every place we moved would be drastically different how they handled COVID. And it was cool because it's like, and like even the mindset, we keep bringing up the video with Joe, but it's like even our mindset going into that was like, let's put ourselves in the role of like the scientist who's just watching the experiment go down. And when you're moving around so much, you're just barely stepping into these cliques and like these little groups of people in the communities, and you're just like, y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird. And it's just like everyone cares about some shit, you know. And it's funny to just be like, everyone's just like, well, what do you care about? It's like, well, I don't know. I've seen like 5 different things I could go with in the last month.
What do you guys care about?
Yeah, and it's just like for me, I've always been one to not take shit so serious and just type, at least when it comes to shit most people take serious. So it's funny to pop in and put on your Idaho
mask
cap
or-
for a while,
Maine to
or
Alabama is crazy. Dude. COVID.
it was hilarious,
Yeah.
dude.
a
Like,
lot less people living in vans, I bet, up there.
oh, dude,
You know
it's
what I mean?
it's
Probably
so
had a
fun.
tattoo,
Actually,
a face mask in
it's
Maine.
it's funny because it's like you've got Alabama where you've got this sense of southern hillbilly kind of out in the woods type of thing.
Yeah.
Every state I've been to has that same thing. It's not the South. Like
Right.
it's literally just like when you're out in
it's small
bumfuck
town versus
somewhere.
city. It's
Literally.
small town versus city. It's not
It's really how many
north versus
is
south.
the
Oh,
question.
literally, it's like I
Yeah.
found just as racist of rich white people up in Maine as
Yeah.
you know down south.
Wait,
and
there's racist white people?
it's
that
a,
are
it's a
rich,
new
too?
thing,
This changes everything, too. No, but
and they come from old money.
How could that be?
well, they said boy a lot.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah. But so, do you have a favorite one that, I know North Carolina, but do you have like one where you're like, I could really see this being a home?
Maine.
Maine?
Yeah,
Really?
my family probably if they like her family's all down here, my family's all in like Alabama and Missouri. So I think if it wasn't down to family, it probably would be like, you know, we'd be in fucking Europe or something, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
Maine's been the coolest. We spent a lot of time in Teton Valley, Idaho, which is beautiful, right next to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
So spent a ton of time out in like the Tetons and stuff like that, and it's fucking phenomenal. But I don't think I'd live there full time. It's again, even just that little valley right next to Jackson Hole is so small town vibes. Like you can't go anywhere without seeing everyone, and it's just that same little
Always
just click.
the biggest small city you're ever in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what
That's
I
how
always.
Lexington feels.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
What I love about Lexington is I always see people I know, and what I hate is I always see people I know.
Yeah.
It seems so big, but it's like I'll be on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something, and I'll be setting my radius
Yeah.
to like 9 miles, and then it's like
Oh, Hunter's
Lexington's a
selling-
tiny dot. New Circle's like in that. I'm like,
Yep.
that's only 9 miles. Like,
Ontario.
I'm like, oh my god, they squeeze so many suburbs and little neighborhoods into this motherfucker.
I was gonna say, like, speaking of shows, we used to follow this one band around. So I used to be like I still kind of am. I wouldn't say not nearly as much because I'm almost 30, but
Brody.
I used to be like a big festival goer.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so we used to do all that stuff now, and I used to be the guy in the front of the pit, like fucking with a whole bottle of bourbon, being like, push, you know. But, you know, we used to follow some of these DJs around that we found that would be doing these sets, and they'd be super open. It'd be like the, like the, I don't know if did you ever go to Bonnaroo at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
how they had the silent disco?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it'd be like something a little bit smaller than that, but they're not like name brand. They'd have some guys there, but they wouldn't be like, you know, fucking Dave Portnoy DJing. I don't know. That was not the right name I was going for. But they'd hit us up and they'd be like, hey, we're having a show out here. We went to a Michigan Detroit DJ set one time, and we're thinking, oh, it's gonna be a DJ set. This place is gonna be fucking booming, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Weed's legal in Detroit, you know, all this. And we went there, and I had the realization that everyone starts small. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, no matter who you are, like you can have one good show, right? But you still have to like grind it out.
Oh yeah.
So was there a point to where you were like, all right, this, like, you felt good at one point, and then you hit that moment where you're like, all right, this is just part of the process?
It's been a roller coaster, honestly. There's been moments where it's been like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, holy fuck, like, I'm going to make it big tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's been, you know, 2 days later I play a show and then no one's there type shit. So, and I think that you got to put in the work. I always say that with anybody. I think that there's so many people who see the whatever art that they're into. I think they see it like,
I feel like they just see the shine.
yeah, that's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
the glamour of it all.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where it's time to put in the work and nobody fucking wants to do it. And that was a huge part of Nashville too. That's kind of what I was saying. It's like everybody's on a mission, everybody's got money to throw at stuff, but then
Yeah.
it's like when it comes to actually doing the creative stuff or putting the work in with your hands, it's like everybody's gone. Like
Well,
nowhere to be found.
And that was kind of a big thing we saw here, because I used to love, like, one of my things was, all right, I want to, you know, coming from my mom's side, I want to decorate the set. You know what I mean? I want to make it look as elite as possible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to hang shit up. I want to have shelves, all this stuff. And then, you know, Paris would be like, hey, bud, I kind of need you to edit this, you know, at least learn how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, because before the, you know, thank goodness for AI, because it's kind of made stuff a little easier in some regards, to where poor Paris over here was doing 3 hours to cut cameras. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's just one of the things where it's like, all right, let's build on what we can always thrive on instead of just the aesthetic. And I feel like that was all of Nashville for you. You know what I mean? It was just purely
I
aesthetic.
get what you're saying for sure.
You know?
I also feel like in a place like Nashville, you get a lot of people who have put in the work in one way, whether it be like rote, just like classical musicianship and understanding how to play their instrument, or like whatever it is they do. And they all get there and they're all talented. And it's like, all right, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Right? It's because it's like talent will get you so far for sure.
Well, and
It'll
then
get you
to be
Nashville.
honestly, it's the people with the money that make the next step.
Yeah.
Right.
If that's the route you're going,
Yeah.
I should say. Like, I knew early on that my favorite bands lived on the road. It took them fucking 10 to 15 years to even get a little bit of recognition.
Right, right.
And it's just like, now it's like I'm so young comparatively to so much shit. And it's like, I look at some of my favorite people and it's like, maybe they didn't even catch a break till they were 40.
Yeah.
It's
Or,
consistency.
or it's like maybe someone's album didn't even get noticed until they died. Like,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not saying obviously you want to, be recognized. And even with, this podcast, it's like, of course you want all the listeners and you want all the streams and you want more of a fan base. But it's like, you always know when you find people who are doing it for the right reasons. And it's like, of course we want the awareness. And of course, like when you put hard work into art, you want it to be seen.
Yeah.
But it's like, I always say, who gives a fuck about being famous in the traditional sense? It's like, I don't want all of that. It's just like,
We have to have the
I feel like
fulfillment
my
to keep
passion and my message behind it all deserves
There
a
you go.
listen
Yeah.
when you compare it to the shit that is being promoted.
Well, I feel like we also grew up in a society where it's like your work being appreciated is like you being on the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah.
Because that's the only route that there was forever.
Yeah.
Because it's like you had to get a HBO special or you had to be on MTV or whatever. I'm good, thank you. But like, yeah, there we go. Got that Zen. But at this point, it's like you have so many opportunities for niche things. Where it's like where you can like be who you are. You don't have to like be like, oh, I have to sell out to this company because they have money to do it. But it's like you can create an audience of 50,000 people and eat off of that forever for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at now. It's like I am playing regularly, but it's hard too because there's that soul crushing line of, this is just feeling like work some days. So it's
And
like,
that's the
and
scary
you can't
feeling.
have the best fucking show every fucking time. And that's where it's like, that's life in general. There's a balance and there's coming to terms with that balance. And then maturity is literally just how you handle dealing with the balance.
I want to ask you because so I went to music school at UK.
Yeah.
So we were there at the same time. And you were talking about how like you want people to critique you, right? And like going to music school, that is literally all that happened was being shit on until your
And I went to art school, so I crave that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like now that we left, and
You
sorry to cut
spoke
you
about that a
off,
little bit.
It's hard
but
to
it's like
find.
I want people to talk shit.
Yeah.
It's like I
He's
I
literally said
want
that
to be
before.
in a
Yeah.
critique again
Yeah.
where I can literally say it is obvious that you did not spend enough time on
Right,
this.
right.
And that is a nice
Because-
thing to say.
A professional will do you a favor by saying that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly. Literally.
Thank
'Cause-
you for telling me what is
Right.
obvious to the public eye.
Really, because like literally the way you should develop as an artist is like you should get shit on until you perform, and then your teacher or mentor or whatever is like, "Hey, good job," and then you're supposed to say thank you and not be like, "I know you think that was shit,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
thank you for saying that anyway."
That's so
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, because like constantly being praised for whatever you do, you go nowhere.
YMCA,
You
you
go
got crushed
nowhere.
it.
Yeah,
That's why, like, even in the sports level, like,
Yeah.
I can't stand the participation trophy.
Right.
age
Yeah, I
that
crushed
we're
it.
in. It's like, what? No, like, you're supposed to feel like shit when you lose.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the whole
true.
point of it. You
Grows you.
learn something from that. You become a better human
Yeah.
being by being exposed to failure.
And I think too, that failure alone, it's like, if like I said, my team was sucking, and so I started playing lacrosse. It's like you have to take the step back every once in a while and evaluate what's going on. And it's like, you
Learn how to
don't
adapt.
want to be losing
You
all the
learn how
time.
to
You don't
adapt
want to
that
be
way,
failing
yeah.
every time. But then you have to ask yourself, what is my personal responsibility in this, and what can I do to fucking change it now?
But I want to ask you, like, so where do you go for that now? Because like
To get critiqued?
Yeah, because like you can critique yourself to an extent, but like that's also a trap in and of itself. Because you
is.
could critique
It is.
yourself to a bad place.
Well, and that's kind of where, like
Great
my
question, buddy.
like my first, this is a good conversation. The first record I made was when I first got down to Nashville, and we got these crazy studios that like Elvis had recorded in and all this crazy shit.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, I was like 19, like didn't
hard to appreciate.
Didn't have the
things at
hands
that
to hold the
age.
dick at that time, and it was like
Every night.
I just pretty much we were just excited to make something. So you know, just a hot take for me, it's like I don't care too much for my first record because I had been so used to me and my drummer recording everything, doing everything ourselves, touching it all, and being that perfectionist side. Blah blah blah. And where I'm getting at with this is like, okay, so then the second record rolls around and I'm like, I have to be the one putting all of the production on it again. But then again, that was when we built the studio and we were able to spend countless hours touching it. And it's like that's when it was like we were overdoing it all the time and like thinking about it nonstop and over analyzing it. And I think that's like, I love my second record. I think that that's like was a huge feat for me. Like I'm super proud of it. Yeah. But now it's like you always grow, and as an artist, I'm like, I think I overtouched that one.
I see.
And now it's like I'm moving more in a direction where now that it's just me again, and I'm mostly playing solo, I'm doing my own shit, and it's mostly acoustic and all the tracks I record now. So it's hard, like you said, to get a critique every once in a while. But I find that now I'm only able to get those critical moments from people I'm working directly with.
I see.
So it's like I'm working with a guy in town, Kyle Ayers, who goes by Buck the Taxidermist when he plays. He's got a great band. Shout out Buck the Taxidermist.
Buck the Taxidermist.
Fucking awesome. He's a great guy, super awesome. But then it's like we'll be working in the studio, and the only time I get a critical comment is if I'm just seriously like, what do you think about this? Is there something weird you hear? It's like, because even my songs now, even the songs that have gotten somewhat popular of mine, I don't hear them as songs. Like it just like, it's like hearing your playback when you listen to these. It's like, even when you're hearing yourself speak, you're almost doing it in your head again too.
You're overanalyzing. Is that what you mean? Like kind of.
I'm not almost like you can't even hear yourself as the recording.
I think what he's saying is more, it's a moment in time. He captured a moment in time and he can't go back to that.
And I can't listen to it as a song. Yeah. I can only understand it as this creative thing in my head.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So, and it's like sonically, I've worked with sound long enough that I know how the sounds need to be. I know how to produce a song. But it's way easier for me to be critical of like if y'all made a song than for me to listen back at mine and be like, well, fuck if I know.
Self-reflection is the hardest thing.
And that's where it's like, I need y'all to be like, that sounds weird. Yeah, I'm like, thanks, because I don't know. I don't know. It just sounds like a thought I had.
Yeah, no, I get you. Did you ever get any like musical training? Did you have like mentorship or anything? Did anyone teach you guitar or anything?
Early on, I took like a few months of piano lessons.
Right.
And was playing guitar at home and teaching myself, and realized I liked doing that way more. Taught myself guitar for a long time, and when I moved to Ohio, my mom was like, do you want to try getting lessons? And then I tried for a month, and the guy was literally just like pulling up guitar tabs on his computer and like teaching me stuff. So I was like, and this was at like a professional place too. And I was like, dude, I'm already doing this. I've been doing this for the last 7 years.
Doing it for student credits.
Exactly. And so that was for me, it's like, that's not the type of learning I wanted. And so I just went back to teaching myself. And so now I think I have this original me style about me. Yeah. But there are sometimes where I'm like, it probably would be nice to have a more musical theory background.
Because it is crazy to me how instrumental starting with piano is. You ever notice that? Like that, just to learn the very basics.
I wish I stuck with it.
That is such an important step.
It's all laid out right in front of your face.
And I think to your point of like, because like I think what was really good about a musical education that was like kind of classically approached. I saw my teacher every week, and it was that like you understand that there are limits to your own interpretation of what you can do. Yeah. And I think that's happened in our short time of doing comedy. It's like I think I remember feeling that way and being like writing something and being like, you know what? That's literally the best I could probably do right now until I perform it and figure it out. Until realizing
and that is like me improvising the lines, because it's like not always like a straight freestyle, but it's like I know in my mind I've got a grab bag of lyrics let's try this one tonight.
Because there's only so much you can do by yourself. Because you get to a point where you're like, I have to put this in front of people before I can learn more. And like that's what a good teacher will teach you and be like, look, there's literally nothing that I can say that you can understand until you go out in front and see what happens.
And feel why it doesn't work.
By that improv, you're able to get that reaction to feel how it feels to somebody else as opposed to
I'm even doing that alone too. Like it's like I'll start with an idea and I'll have myself recording for like 15 minutes straight, and it might not be till that 14th minute where I say the line that finally is like, that's it. That's what it all was for. Fits. That's why. Like it's because it's like I'm waiting for the feelings to line up. It's like the guitar feelings there. What do the words need to be to match that feeling?
And that's the scary part about art is because you never know. Because you think
if it'll happen or not.
You're like, oh, I got it. And then you're like, but I don't actually know.
I have songs that be reaction based then for like you to get your best kind of,
I think
like it needs to be in that kind of like live mentality.
Because some of your, some of your best
Yeah.
work can be when you feel the most exposed, when it's something that you don't want to say.
And exposure is a way of just being completely sincere as well in
that's
a
what I'm
way.
saying.
Well, and
you know?
it also depends on what type of art, I truly think. Because it's like,
True.
I think, you know, there's something to say where it's like raw and the feeling of it all. Like, you know, just, I used to, and I still like, I'm super into hip hop. I like put out a mixtape even in college too. So it's like, I've got like, you know, that fun.
Dirty
like,
Dan and the Boys, is that you?
Oh, you've heard of them. Yeah. But it's like just that thing where it's like, I think when people see you freestyle or come up with something on the spot, they're like, oh my gosh, that's raw, that's real.
Yeah.
But then there's also something to say about some dude who spent hours alone in his room creating something or like painting something.
Yeah.
Like you see a painting sometimes and you're like, this took time.
Right.
Like you can appreciate it because you already know just right from seeing it for a second, like how much effort went into it.
Yeah.
So there's like this, I think there's some sort of equation out there, like effort plus rawness. You know, all
like
that.
At some point, like you have to have enough work in the background to even have the opportunity to get lucky on something like that. You increase your chances from 1% to like 10% by being a good musician or whatever art you're performing, but it's never guaranteed. You're like literally just banking on, it's like, I hope I did good enough to like actually, because art is not just performer, it's performer and audience.
Well, and it's all audience too, because what you're saying, it's like, that made me think it's like, it's all environment, because it's like, I'll play like 4 shows in a week and I'll play them all identically the same.
Yeah.
And they might
4
turn out
different
all
reactions.
literally 4 different reactions all the time.
We asked your Meshi this, and do you find yourself kind of fine tuning what you're going to play based off your crowd sometimes?
Yeah. 100%. I always. I'll have like a 2 list with me mostly of like what I think I'm going to play for the night, and then a list of like all the songs that I would want to play.
Okay.
And then I'll start playing.
And
see how the crowd reacts,
and
then I might scrap the whole fucking thing and be like some nights, you
start rapping.
Dude, it's always different.
Yeah.
I mean, not rapping, but you know, like
like this. Always doing drill.
But I do have buddies who like actually like in North Carolina do rap, and I'll invite rappers up and stuff like that. So it's like, it really depends on the fucking audience. I do want to touch on what you said though. You asked me like the critique side of things, and then you were bringing up like testing it out on audience. I think that's like a perfect full circle, because it's like, not only is it hard for me being a solo artist most of the time, and I'm working so much and just playing and playing. I don't even play a lot at home anymore, which is the sad thing. I'm trying to get back like more of playing, and also winter too. It just gets everybody in a weird funk. But it's like, until I go play, I'm not going to get any real reaction of like, I've got new songs I test out just to kind of see how it's working and stuff. But like, I crave that. Like, I wish people, I wish somebody would come up to me and be like,
you fucking
yo,
suck.
your guitar was a little weird tonight. Or like, what's that sound? I was hearing something. Like, I beg for that. Cause it's like in art school, someone would come up to me and be like, dude, this is not it. This is not it. And I love it. Like, I want to give them a hug for it. And it's like, I remember leaving art school, moving to Nashville, and then trying to like have those critical conversations with some of my peers when it came to
critique is
like,
different now, man.
And it's like, you have to walk on eggshells with
People don't
people's
want to say
feelings.
anything negative about you because they think it's a bad thing.
Well, not even that. Like, I can't even tell somebody like, yo, you need to spend more time on this. They're like, what? You got something to say? It's
That's
like,
why I hated proofreading in high school. They couldn't handle it,
You
dude.
can't spell.
no, this is just red now.
I spell cow C-U-A.
But no, I think to your point though, because like for example, like the example that like art is like performer and audience all the time, and like the thing with like somewhere like Nashville is that you're almost assuming what your audience is all the time. You know what your audience is, you know that you're trying to cater to that. That's where I feel like it differs between like somewhere like Nashville or North Carolina or even Lexington is that like you don't know what the audience exactly wants. Your audience is different, and that you are able to cater to something more like improvisationally, more like, you know, genuinely than if you're just like, no, I know an audience wants 4 chords, they want a key change about 2.5 minutes in, and then like, you know, finish out the song.
And
with
my
an
job
outro.
has become over the years, not only like finding that and testing it out at each thing. It's like now I just know where I need to play.
Yeah.
Kind of like sometimes I'll play somewhere and be like, never again.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's not the right place for my music.
I thought you just like the critique though.
Well, it's more like I become background noise. It's like there's a couple breweries or something I might play at where maybe there's just kids fucking running around the whole time or something like that. It's like, and it's not that I don't mind. Like, then again, when it comes to this being my job, it's like if they're paying really well, it's really hard for me to like be like, do I want to keep doing this?
You know,
Because
it's interesting. It's almost like training an AI at some point, because you just have to go out there and just put it in situations where you're just like, does this work?
Yeah.
Yes or no, pretty
Literally.
much. And then you're like, all right, yes, okay, keep doing that. But no, don't do that anymore. And you're like training to like, because I want to like, because you mentioned your music is like alt rock, for example. So, but like today we're seeing hip hop, we're seeing a resurgence of country, we're seeing like all these blends of music and stuff, and alt rock and rock, and even Urameshi goes through with this. Is that like the genre isn't as alive as it was like 20 years ago? You know what I'm saying? So like your art is time dependent as well.
Yeah.
So like, where do you find critique even for something that's like alt rock specific? Because someone might be able to give you a
and
hip-hop
I just say
critique.
alt rock because that's the easiest fucking thing to
Yeah,
say.
'cause
I
you
could
can't-
talk forever
because
about why genre doesn't
I was
mean
gonna
shit
say,
to me.
yeah.
Because
Oh,
it's like
especially
people listen to me
today.
and they're like, because I used to call it psychedelic southern.
Yeah.
That used to be this phrase
is
I was trying
so
to coin
badass,
back in the
dude.
day.
That's fine, yeah.
And so I told everybody I was playing psychedelic southern. And now,
That's the Marcus
truthfully,
King.
yeah,
That's
truthfully, the
Marcus
thing
King.
of it all, it's like I did that for years and years, and like every interview and write up I had, I was really trying to coin like the phrase psychedelic southern. And for me, I was like early in my career and out of college, I was in a super psychedelic phase of my life, and just like what I was reading, what I was
wasn't, man?
into, just like that was and it messed with like, it was finally like ideas I'd had since a child. Like there was finally like an occult out there that understood these weird questions, and it's this whole spiritual side of things that I was trying to like push out there. And with me calling it psychedelic southern, I even when people would ask me about it, I still would be like, it's all about like just the mind consciousness expanding side of it and what music can do for you in that realm. But I feel like just where I'm at in my life, and like I don't do psychedelics and shit like that anymore, and I just hold them at such a high respect that like I don't want to like use that term and then like just
So-
I don't want people to associate me with fucking acid and shrooms right off the bat.
to get fucked up
But
on.
even
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
the-
yeah.
even
Yeah.
to that point, like I think you've
Oh,
got
okay.
a certain, and that it almost sounds in the modern world of music like a derogatory term, but it almost like a folk sense to you, to where like you're telling your truth.
Yeah.
You're not worried, because like in getting ready for this, like I've listened to a couple of your several of your songs, and it seems to me like you're not worried about how it sounds to somebody else. You're trying to tell your own truth, regardless of how it sounds. And that's where I get that like folk sense of just like, this is how I feel.
And for the most part, I've been calling it indie folk nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the record I'm working on right now is definitely more of the indie folk rock Americana kind of.
Have you pulled away from being, I guess, I don't know if this is the right way to kind of describe it, but like from more lyrical to more emotional now? Or is that kind of...
I would say for me, the lyrics are still like very much like I'm still on the same vibe with everything. The next record I'm putting out are some of my most proud songs I've ever written, for sure. I think that it's more of, I was with a band that I was just really excited to get together in Nashville. Like I said, me and my drummer had been together for a very long time, since childhood, and we actually had a falling out doing our North Carolina tour. So me and him don't make music anymore together. And
It's always sad to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just maturing in life, and we were just going separate ways. And I mean, I wish him the best, obviously.
I'm
But
22, this bitch.
yeah, it was time for a change, and it was like right
Gonna fuck his wife?
No, that's a different pod.
What's
That's a
going on
different
right
pod.
now?
But
What's
right at
happening with
yeah,
that in
like
22?
when we were doing the North Carolina tour, right before that, I had split ways with the rest of the band. I was kind of like, I want to do more solo stuff. Scott and I were still recording the drummer. And so he was along to do some shows, and then it just ended up being too much, yada, yada, yada. But I find basically that I was just at a space where I wasn't vibing with my band too much. Like I'd gotten down in Nashville, and it was like I was young, and I was like, grab the best people we can find real quick.
Well, you want to surround yourself, but sometimes the scariest part about surrounding yourself is when it doesn't blend.
Well, and we were all young, and it's like, I was like, I want to do this. I want to travel. I want to go to the small towns and make a name for ourselves, and I want to put in the work. And like everybody was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And then we start traveling, and it's like, maybe not as much. Like, and it's like everybody kind of fizzled out on that. And it was like, I think that I've always had a very strong vision for my music, and it's hard to find people who will want to, collaborate in that way. It's like there's always like my guitar player, for example, is phenomenal. He was fucking incredible, but he's a very like strict blues shredder. Like he loves Allman Brothers, loves like Frusciante from the Chili Peppers, and can do some crazy stuff on guitar I cannot do.
Yeah.
But it was like every song he wants to add these crazy blues solos to, and it makes the whole song this completely vibe. So it's like, whereas what I hear the music as in my head, it's never really changed. But now I'm starting to work with people and record in a way where it's reflecting that a little better.
Yeah, it's a different level from working with someone to collaborating.
Yeah.
Like getting that genuine collaboration is what you're looking for.
Exactly.
To where somebody can take your idea and make it whole, as opposed to take your idea and here's my spin on
And
it.
here's what we can add to it kind of thing.
I have this might get a little heady,
No, go
because
for it.
you call your music psychedelic southern, which I like a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Even if you stop saying that about your music, but like there's something about southern Appalachian music, and you even saw this with Kurt Cobain, for example, with Nirvana. As he went to the like the boonies and learned the folk songs of those places, and even like in one of his best songs, "Where Did You Sleep Last Night," comes from "In the Pines," which is an old
blues
but
song.
like you hear something like, okay, you don't hear psychedelic and southern put together, but the thing is, when you go back and look at Appalachian music, you hear a lot of major sounds, happy sounds, but juxtaposed with the saddest shit you've ever heard in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like some real shit. And it's like the art of it is the irony to me, is that like there's this dual sense of everything.
You're
right?
smacking exactly on what my music's about.
Right.
I mean, my main title track off the last record was Sad Happy. So it's like the whole album was about the polarity and the duality of life. And
so like I want to poke your brain on like the future of music at this point, because like, okay, for example, right now, what's the biggest, genre? It's like hip hop. Country's actually kind of making a weird.
Too.
Like,
It's
Hip-hop
blended
country
so
is
much to
hip-hop
where
too.
it's
Hip-hop country.
Right.
it's almost rap in a way too. Now.
But like,
it's
there's
insane.
almost there's a sense of like, the youth really carry the interest of music, and like they establish what is interesting in music these days. Okay, so we have a youth that's likes hip hop. We're all still young enough to be like, okay, yeah, we fuck with some Kendrick, some J. Cole, and all that stuff. But like music evolves, and as we go towards something that is like, we're coming on a generation of people that have nothing but a fucking screen in front of their face all the time. They're so nihilistic, and they're so like, deeply depraving of all dopamine, because they just like life is all right there at their fingertips.
Easy.
No,
Easy.
I'm just let me cook.
we're all guilty. We're all guilty.
Let them cook.
But like this idea of like, this old paradigm of a sad song but with a happy sound. You know what I'm saying?
All my
I feel like
songs.
it's very like it kind of like it makes you feel something pretty easily, actually, because like you hear something that's really sad but you're like happy about it. You're like, what's going on? I feel like pushing towards the future, like, okay, so what's really like Young Thug is popular right now. It's like fucking shoot people, bop, 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 yada, yada,
Fire
yada.
ass.
But like, as music evolves, personally, I can kind of see a push towards something more in like introspective, more kind kind of doesn't have to spell out exactly what it's going to say to you.
Yeah.
And like, do you find yourself ever like thinking of the macro perspective of music like that? Like being like, what was popular 20 years ago? Okay, fucking Sum 41, Coldplay, you know, what was popular 20 years before that? Okay, we're talking fucking, you know, hair metal, all this stuff. It's like, what is it actually speaking to? It's speaking to the youth. So do you ever feel like your music, like the way you can stay so passionate and committed to it is because like maybe the audience portion of it, you're like, they're just waiting to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's a great,
it's just waiting to get to that point, and that's why you're able. Versus someone who is like, no, I need to appeal to whatever is happening now. Like, is that ever a consideration? Like the audience perspective.
100%.
Yeah.
No, you're hitting the nail right on the fucking head. Honestly, I think so many people have reached out, you know, after they've given the album like a real listen, you know, like it, and that's the difference. It's like someone listening with headphones and listens to the whole record, or someone,
It's
you
not
know,
just background music, like you said.
exactly.
You know what
Or, you know, one of the songs just comes up on shuffle on Spotify. It's like they can still, you know, zone into that song or whatever, but there's something to say about the change in how people listen to music nowadays. That's a huge factor that, you know, back in the day I would have spent a lot of time bitching about. But then again, it's like nowadays, as an artist who has pretty much dedicated my life to this, I know I'm going to do it forever, no matter what it looks like.
Yeah, yeah.
Your enemy already have too many denim coats.
Exactly. And it's like, for me,
You rock it too fucking good, dude. Yeah.
it's just, it's hard because I know I'm going to do it no matter what, but there's always that part of me that thinks what I'm doing is revolutionary in a way. Like I'm creating fusion of genres I've loved my whole life, and I listen to everything. Like, and I think what my initial response to your question was, is that I think there's always songs that are timeless, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, as you know, we're almost all 30. It's like there's rap songs. I think hip hop's a perfect example because it's very polarizing.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I will listen to some hip hop that I listened to growing up and it still slaps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, there's some fucking phenomenal. I mean,
feel
you
that,
know,
yes.
when someone has something to say.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of how it is.
Well, and that's
And
every
then there's
generation
some,
too. Yeah.
and let's break it down to Eminem.
Yeah.
Eminem, every white kid grew up listening to Eminem. Some of his songs, timeless as hell.
Yeah.
Some of his songs, I wouldn't be caught listening to any of those in
If
front
you're
of
listening
anybody.
to Kim in your car on your way home from
It's
work,
like,
you
go
got
ahead.
problems, bro.
Exactly.
You got problems.
And that's the thing. It's like, in some of my music, I feel like that. Like some of my,
I wrote those addresses right, bitch. You're like, what are you listening to, bro? What's wrong? Are you okay?
hey, you guys want to go to the grocery store?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Box,
dude,
dude.
chill.
This is a bridal party.
We're supposed to be pre-gaming right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But no, I think there's a timeless aspect even with my own music. It's like there's some things that I'm like, oh, I would have done it differently for it to, you know, have held some of those more timeless characteristics. But it's like sometimes when you're creating it, obviously it just has
No one
to
ever
happen
knows it's
how
timeless when it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. And like, just like I said, it's like some of my
Besides
songs
8
I'm like,
Mile.
oh, I could have done that better or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just like, oh, okay, this one I can tell came out exactly how it should have. It's
Yeah.
just like,
All right, I'm drunk enough to
think there's-
critique your music at this point.
Let's
Okay,
do it.
Okay.
I think there's also well, before we get into that,
Yeah.
I think there's also
Don't
something.
you dare talk about golf.
No, I think there's also something.
disc golf?
or the big.
I'll avoid
there's-
some chains before you,
You know,
leave.
music is also my
Yeah,
go-to.
absolutely, brother.
But I think there's also something cyclical about music too. Like
Yes.
it's always
Yes.
going to go through phases. Like we've seen country hit its peak in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it's come back.
Yeah.
Like everything's going to come back. And so I think
Try that in a small
I
town,
think
brother.
Oh,
but
God.
I think we're
Chill out.
only I mean you're seeing the Gretas of the world. I think we're 5 years removed from it turning back to a rock based.
There's a.
And so my
Yeah,
bio on
yeah, I agree with
Spotify,
that.
Like
it used to say before 2020, because my band was doing really good and I was like, turn of the century is going to be, or turn of the decade or whatever. I was like, I can't remember what I said. It was like, Watkins is here to change the mind of the music scene at the turn of the decade. Like,
Yeah.
because for me, it's like I truly feel this cyclical movement.
it's gonna come
and
back.
there's
Like, it's-
there's and there is good music. That's the problem.
That's the thing.
The
like,
market is so oversaturated because some of my favorite music is coming out right now, and I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Like,
Yes.
You don't find yourself stagnant with your old stuff?
No.
No,
yes
but
and
you
no.
know what I mean? Like
yes
old,
and no.
you know?
It was easier to
always
find
stuff.
music back in the day. I feel like nowadays. I don't have a bunch of homies who are looking up music like we used to. I don't have like, what albums you listening to now? Yeah, we will for sure.
I'm always
And I'm a whole album listener. Like it's like send me an album, I'm listening to it start to finish.
Dylan rocked my mind one night. We're driving to a bar and he rocked my mind with some fucking R&B. I was like, I was an R&B since Akon, brother. You know what I mean? If you even call it R&B, you know what I mean? I was all about. It's been so long.
I was deep in the R&B bag too,
dude. And that's the thing. And I always people are like, what music are you into? And I'm like, everything. I'm like, and it's more for me. I always say, if they mean it, they mean it. Like if I can tell that they mean what they're saying, I usually fucking like it.
There's a feeling of whether or not what you're saying is real. It's not even. It's not a tone. It's not something you can fake.
Yeah.
There's an authenticity that even if I can't relate to what you're saying, I respect it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's. I was gonna go back to your music.
Yeah, I want to hear this. Hit me, roast me.
Now,
I told the guys I wanted to be roasted today.
Do we want to take a quick break?
You want to do it? Let's do the break after this.
Okay.
I feel like we can. Yeah, we
We're
got some other
already
stuff to do after the
an hour
break.
and 20
Okay,
in.
we're good.
How dare you, Dylan? How dare you with
I only
those
started listening to
dope-ass
music
SBs?
2 days ago.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are
yeah.
dunks. Get the
And-
fuck out of here.
My background in music, jazz, saxophone, classical, all this stuff.
What'd you play in college again?
Saxophone. I just said it. But,
Right.
and I also have a wide range of, music is, at this point, my music taste is so broken, I'm listening to just like the most trash music you could ever imagine. Like, I played you White Shooter the other day. Dylan, do you remember that? Yeah. All I do is kill. All I do is
my
trip.
God.
That was
Like,
wild.
The most broken shit you could ever imagine in terms of music. But like, I still like to keep, like some head around me when it comes to music. And when I heard your music, I was listening to it. I was like, this is a vibe. Like, number one, it's a vibe. Every single song is a vibe, and I dig it really. Like, and it's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Where's
the kind
the
of music
critique
that
coming in?
I hope I'm nervous.
Yeah, it's the kind of music I want to hear when I am either celebrating or feel like very like maybe nostalgic even.
I always
You know
get
what
like
I'm
a
saying?
driving in the summer, windows rolled down,
Right.
kind of like nostalgia.
But
for sure.
where I find your best song for me was that keep me inside. What's that song again? It's like the rainy something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's about
Rainy
like
Days?
Rainy days, maybe. It's a very. But like what I noticed most about it is that it is like rhythm focused. Like at the up front, it is very like more rhythmic than your other songs would be, and that's where I found I was like, oh, this song feels different, and I think it's the most played song on your Spotify as well.
Oh, so you're thinking of Lovely Scares, maybe?
Lovely Scares. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I was talking about with the major sound, but with like the scary undertone, but like this also blossoming of like love and like feeling some real genuine.
I've never seen Paris show this much emotion before.
Dude,
This
I'm
is
digging it. I'm digging it.
It's one of those.
Neither have I.
That makes it, yeah, right. It's a first for everyone. It's one of those songs that makes you feel uncomfortable, but in the right way. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
what I noticed
beautifully put,
most
yeah.
about that song was that it felt like it was rhythm first. And when the song came through, because it had that kind of backbeat 2 and 4 feel to it, but then you also kind of like, you kind of draw it back into like not a country necessarily, but not a rock necessarily either. But what I noticed most is that like the backbeat and the feel of it was much more, how do I say, almost like dance like even. Just Hunter's just got to interrupt.
No, I didn't mean to.
He's
I
gonna
was making sure you
he's gotta
stirred
make
next to
it
the fucking
about
mic,
himself.
dude. No,
He's
go ahead.
gotta
I'm in
make
it. I'm
about
in it.
He's muted over there. Dylan's got
I
it.
didn't see
He's
the red
on.
button.
He's on.
Okay,
Carry
he's
it on.
got
You
it.
see, I was focused in.
But where I had quarrels with your music was that like, okay, but most things sound the same. And it's until I find something that stands out so differently that I'm like, oh, and like, oh, maybe that's why that's your most played song on Spotify right now. It's because like, oh, what's different about this is rhythm. And guess what people really like right now, at least, is rhythm. Something that they can like feel like,
It's definitely got a driving like.
Yeah. But it's also kind of like,
So that's where you're lucky on this podcast is me and Paris have like the most differentiating music opinions, but we also like really complement each other.
Yeah, I'm digging
My
it.
favorite song of yours is Angel in Disguise.
No shit.
Dude,
You caught my ass.
lyrically.
Oh.
There it is.
See,
There's
it's always
that-
shit like that,
Yeah.
though.
Like there's just a moment where like I caught myself. I had to listen to it twice in a row, like back to back, because the first time I caught myself literally just dazing off.
Yeah.
To the point to where I wasn't listening to to any of the
Hell
lyrics.
yeah, Dylan, get that shit.
And I went back the second time and I was like, hold on. I was like, why did I miss everything he said? And you caught a moment to where everything you were doing musically and everything you were doing lyrically matched up in the perfect way to where I just found myself just lost.
Hell yeah.
And it was such a cool moment because I like, you know, like
I'm so proud of these fucking guys, dude. They're
on
so
here
goddamn
and like,
brilliant. I love these guys.
I'm like searching for something to ask about, and that just hit me in a moment. And I was like, wait, like I don't even have to search for the question. Like the question hit me in the mouth. Like that was such a cool moment because like that. I don't know, everything about that song. The lyrics and the music and everything, I just was lost in it.
That's awesome.
now
because-
critique his ass.
No, let me say something real quick because I do want to hear if you
No,
have. But
I
that's
can do
funny
that too,
because
but-
that is one of those songs where that to me, like, it was all about creating that space in the song. And I find it so hard to get people to that moment that you had. So I don't play that song hardly ever anymore.
Okay.
And funny enough,
Interesting. Okay.
funny enough, if someone were to ask me like my best crowd moments, I played this sold out show back in Idaho where everyone was like paying attention. Like the whole bar
Locked.
did not like when I stopped playing a
That's one of
song,
my
like no one
favorite-
even
that's one
talked
of my
in between
favorite
the
reactions.
songs.
That's one of my
And
favorite reactions.
so
Being a part of a crowd is
Exactly.
where you can't react.
when
You're
you all
just-
hear that song, you're just like, all right, we're all in the same
Yeah.
moment right now.
And I played Angel in Disguise that night, and it worked. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where it was like I knew kind of like, okay,
yeah.
I know this is gonna work
it.
now
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they are listening.
Yeah.
They are tuned into the frequency that this will align with, and so that was a perfect example. So it's funny because that's also too. It's easy in a way to kind of tell what type of listener people are when they tell me their favorite songs.
Okay.
Because like for that, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You were listening,
Yeah.
like you picked up on it.
That's
So-
awesome.
And so it's
That's
hard
awesome.
because no one hardly ever
That's
says
what I'm saying.
that
We
shit.
need a group chat is because like that.
Yeah.
I live for those moments.
Yeah.
Like I've got a couple musician friends, and that's why even though I went to Lexington School for the Recording Arts, like I thought that was my avenue, and I realized that like I'm not as passionate about it as the people that do it at the best level.
Yeah.
Because I thought I wanted to be a sound engineer. I wanted to do all this. And then I realized, holy shit, these guys are a lot better and a lot
And a lot of
harder
those
work.
guys will end up like specializing in one fucking
Yeah.
skill where it's
Yeah.
like one dude just sets up the microphones and it's like
You can specialize
they'll
in one skill for
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that type
dude.
of stuff.
well, it's
like
just
that?
how
It's
it
crazy.
becomes your role
It's
in a
crazy.
studio. Like you find
Okay.
yourself working in a studio, and it's like, what are you doing? And a lot of people run live sound or
Yeah.
stage
It's just like
sound.
video editing and like
Yeah.
I do the color. It's like
Yeah.
I do red.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, right,
You
yeah.
were telling me about that last time.
Yeah,
to where
yeah.
there's
There's a guy.
speci-
There's one guy that does color. It's like I do all the
Yeah.
So it's you can really segment all these things
But
into
and
little.
so like once I got into that space and realized that, I was like, you know what? Like, no, I'm just an avid listener.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I live for those moments where music captures this perfect blend of sound and lyrics that fit that sound.
yeah.
And that's that moment that I live for in anything I listen to.
Oh yeah. Did you listen to the whole album by
Yeah.
chance?
Yeah.
So no one ever listens to the intro. I fucking love the
I
intro.
love the intro.
It like goes from this like radio, like weird lo-fi, like in
remember I
the
used to have a
distance
radio
song. Then it
lo-fi.
just like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
switches into almost like a
what we are.
hip hop feel song.
I didn't think that's where it was going for
Yeah.
sure. Like that. Yeah, that was cool.
I was just gonna point on this real quick.
Yeah, I'm an album listener for sure. Though.
I remember being a kid and I would save up money to buy a couple iTunes songs.
Yeah.
Right. And then if I had enough money, I'd buy the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I had to, even though I didn't want the whole album, there was like 5 songs on the album, and it'd be cheaper to just buy the album.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They got your ass.
Exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Taylor. Why is yours still charging? But no, all jokes aside, like I remember I would buy an album, right? And I think the beauty that I think all of us kind of, we were talking about earlier, to where like the artists that we listen to, is because you couldn't cherry pick the songs that you liked, that you've just heard, and that were like, when you go and search an artist, it's their top song.
Yeah.
It was a thing to where you developed more of an introspective about the artist through the entire album.
Yeah.
You found
know,
your favorite song.
You
Yeah,
found-
I was just about to
exactly.
say that. And then you would ask your friends what their favorite
Yeah.
song was.
But you know what I get so hyped about now is when I'll listen to an artist who I saw live, right? And which is
It's a different experience.
I saw live, and it was that one song, like Dylan was saying, that stuck out to me. And I'll go on there and look at it, and I have to dig through like 3 albums to find this, because it's not on that top 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you gotta dig to find that song, and then you feel a better connection with that artist, because you're like, oh shit, which is ironic, because that's awesome, but also it's kind of unfair, because everyone's taste is different, but because it's based on a statistic, you know what I mean, or it's based off a certain like percentage, and it's weird.
Every single, like hit is very strategically planned.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another thing too. Like, it's
That's
not like
true.
everybody just liked this song. It was
No,
like, this is the
it's
song that they put
calculated.
all the money into.
But and that's why I come back to the point of where, you know, mid 2000s, before all this stuff, where we had streaming services for music, you had to still dig through it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you had to experience the album, and it just gave you a deeper resonance with the artist. It gave you like this, like I feel like your favorite song, and yet you don't know the album of the artist, is very like, I compare it to talking to a person at a bar. I know them from just this drunk conversation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of knowing who they are outside of having a good time.
Exactly.
Outside of, and
That's
it's
like, I remember conversations at parties with 6 guys sitting around drinking, having a good time, and you're like, hey, what's your favorite song on the Carter 3?
Yeah.
oh, dude.
Oh, wait. Let's go ahead and do that right
let's
now.
do that.
Let's
Let's do that
you
right
already
now.
said it. We
You've
might
got
as well
6
do it.
different answers.
I
and
know
it's
you.
like,
Taylor's so good at fucking seeing, dog, dude. Hell yes, bro.
I'm glad we're doing this.
But like, that's the thing, is like, you got 6 different answers, and you could just
And
explain
dissect it all.
You could
Yeah.
explain
Yes.
why. Now
You
if you ask that question about some new album that came out,
You say,
everybody
what do you
gives
mean?
the same shit. And
Exactly.
You're
And
like, this isn't an interesting conversation. Like,
And-
this isn't fun. Like,
Exactly.
This isn't,
and I'll tell you this, and we'll hop to a break, but
Yeah.
and we'll do the Carter 4, but because that fucking shit is goddamn gas.
yeah.
But
3.
it is Carter 3, Carter 4, but it is one of those things to where I catch myself, and I think our love for that music in the past is because I had to go through the entire album.
Yeah.
I had to
Okay.
go.
I
I
see
had to
what you're
develop
saying.
a complete respect for this artist, to where it's almost like you dated them.
Well, and I'll say
You know
too,
what I mean?
like, I won't say too much because we can go to the break, but like what you're saying is why I still buy CDs. Why
Yes.
I still listen to the whole album,
And that's
because
so important.
I found that relationship early on, and I was that kid in front of my stereo reading the CD pamphlet
Yes.
the
Yeah, I
whole
remember that.
time. Like, and that was my life. Like, it still is my life.
Remember
like,
when
I,
that's the only way you could find
the right
actual
lyrics,
But
and,
you-
and then
dude,
they don't put them in there, and you're
yes.
like, they didn't put the fucking lyrics. Yeah.
Why do they keep blanking out the N word?
Which shout out, I appreciate that your lyrics are on Spotify. You can just scroll down.
I
Yeah,
do all that.
boom. Yeah,
I do all that.
That's
That's
huge.
so
'Cause
clutch.
That's one of my favorite things to do
Yeah.
on Spotify. is
Honestly,
go-
if an
Hell
artist
yeah.
doesn't have
I'm
the
glad
lyrics
someone's
on
using
songs,
it.
I'm like, yeah.
They're not putting in the work.
Yeah, it's like,
They're
what
not
are you
putting in the
doing?
work.
I'll catch myself
What are you
older
doing?
now, and I'll just from like songs that I like kind of today, I'll go through the lyrics after I stop listening for as just, you know, standby music.
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like I'm a fucking NPC. But I'll finally like put on the lyrics. And I'm like, holy shit, and then I'll swerve into
That's not what I
traffic.
thought it said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah, always.
Yeah, no. Going back and realizing you've been saying the wrong
misheard
word
lyrics.
for
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm gonna keep saying it.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care.
I created this song.
Any Pearl Jam song ever.
Oh yeah, even Bon Iver. I'm like, I just make sounds.
Okay, do you say?
Make sounds.
I've always said Boniver.
Yeah, it's not right.
No, dude, no.
It's French for good winter.
I've always said also Dead Mile 5.
Oh, I did. I called myself doing that one for
I
a
always
little
told
bit.
myself I was like, I'm like the it crowd doing that.
Yeah.
But Dead Mouse, by the way, if you guys don't know that. But no, it's the fact where we got to experience the entire album, and I think that's something you can never. When you get older, you appreciate, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to do this. All right, Taylor, song on the Carter 3. What you got?
Hold on. Let's talk to a quick
Okay, quick break before the Carter 3.
Yeah, we'll come back to the Carter 3.
right,
Let's do
do
it.
it.
All right.
Peace.
All right, you guys, we are back. Diving right back into where we left off. So we're going to dive in real quick. Carter 3 favorites. Let's fucking go. Taylor, you're the guest. Lead it off.
I really meant to think about this while I was taking a piss.
You didn't, did you?
I did. I don't even remember what I thought about.
Over there, that heavy-ass jacket.
Okay. Just for that.
It's not
Don't
Brady.
do it.
It's coming off.
It's
Hey,
not Hunter. It's not Brady. You don't have to come with that energy, okay? Yeah.
I'll give you an aid.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh, 3-peat. Okay. A Mr. Carter.
Sponsored by alcohol yet again. Thank you very much, ethanol, for being what you are and helping humanity step forward one by one.
Thank you
Yes.
for the poison.
Ethanol is alcohol. It's the only
Okay.
alcohol that you can digest, actually.
So looking at the list here, I feel like I have to explain myself.
Please do, because I want to hear your bullshit.
Okay, cool. So I'll give you
So
my
aggressive.
professional musician opinion here. So everybody, obviously, all the hoes would say Mrs. Officer. If I was younger, I probably would say Phone Home. A Millie is obviously the bop.
Oh my God, there's so
But
many bangers on this shit.
I'm
dude.
gonna have.
Oh my God.
I did a dance in grade school to Got Money for PE class. We had to do a choreographed dance to that song.
Ooh,
But with all that said, I'm going with Mr. Carter.
you
number
son of a bitch.
2,
No.
Lil Wayne and Jay-Z.
No.
Got summer hating on me because I'm
Hotter than the sun, got spring hating on me cause I ain't never sprung. Winter hating on me cause I'm colder than y'all. And I would never fall. I mean, what's better? Gas.
You want to pull your
Fire.
car over to get a full tank?
So wait, are you upset because I said that song or because I stole yours?
Yeah, because you stole mine.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. If
At least you weren't hating on it.
No, if I gotta go with something different, let me go Let the Beat Build.
No, you fuck!
Oh, my
Let
second
me
one.
go Let the Beat Build.
I almost picked that one.
Let the Beat Build. That beat is so hard. Like, it just captivates you from the
I
second
don't know if
you
I
hear
know
it.
all the lyrics to that one.
No, but it's just
Cracking
like
my
it's
jaw.
a feeling.
Yeah.
It's
Don't
a
dissolve.
feeling.
Oh my
Like,
goodness
God.
gracious.
But also, oh wait, I'll let you
Do
go
need-
because
do
I
you
don't
need
want to
the-
steal.
Do you need the? Because I already stole yours, so let the beat.
I know
build
what
is
my
so
third one would
hard.
be probably, but also too, like I have to say, Mrs. Officer is probably
Mrs.
the
Officer
best
is so
song,
good.
like the most
It's
catchiest
so
song on the
good.
thing.
Okay, so let me
Oh,
ask you
the
this.
second I hear that beat, I'm in it.
I
I'm in
always
it.
thought I don't. Maybe this was on the extended album, but I always thought Hustler Music was on there.
I don't even
No,
know
that was
It might be No Ceilings or
that
one
was
of the
No
mixtapes.
Ceilings. Yeah, that was
No
No
Ceilings
Ceilings.
on there?
That was No Ceilings 2, I think. Yeah, I think.
Y'all remember? This is
think-
completely random, but Brand New. Where It's
Yeah.
like fuck you, bitch. My shirt brand new.
Yeah.
I will. I got you.
Okay, what is it?
I do love those two. I can't even lie, but I will have to like almost spontaneous, improvising type skill that Lil Wayne has.
Improvisation.
It would have to be Dr. Carter.
That was what I was like. I'm gonna keep my mouth
Okay.
The
shut.
fact
Okay.
that as I grew up,
We're
Okay.
losing him. We're losing him.
and then he comes in and says,
Yeah.
I have saved you, hip hop.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You hear the heartbeat of hip hop, and
Yeah.
that is Lil
Dude,
Wayne.
that album, like front to back, is so complete. All right,
Dr.
Paris
Carter.
go before I steal another one.
Can I also say?
Another one just came to mind that is
Mr. Carter, we're losing
so
him.
fucking
We're
good.
Let me
losing him.
bring this up though. This is the same fucking time that I can't remember the name of the song, but there was that Drake song that had Lil Wayne, Eminem, and Kanye in it.
Oh, you're talking about
What is it called?
I got it. Hold on. No, we can
He's like first name
Forever.
last
I want
name.
this shit forever, man.
Yeah, I want this shit forever, man.
It was called Forever.
Ain't nothing to play with. Like the fact that mashup was able to happen,
Yeah.
that almost
That's
is a
like-
test to our whole,
That's
like
two
what was
different
capable with
generations,
pop
too. It's two
and
different
media
generations.
and
It's two different generations too. Because you
like
got,
Drake the
you got-
newbie.
You got
He's still young.
Kanye was still
you
was
got-
on like the T-Pain shit.
well because Kanye kind of split both of them, but you had Eminem and Jay-Z,
Yeah.
and you had Kanye and Drake. Like you had two
Yeah.
different generations of just
It was
legends. Like
Well, and the biggest thing with that one too is the mere fact to where. Do you guys remember where collabs, like for instance, when DJ Khaled was first going, like, do you remember "We Taking Over"?
Yeah.
They would have like 7 fucking rappers.
yeah.
Oh, another good one, that Grocery Bag song where everyone was in
Yeah,
that fucking
and
song
Bedrock.
too. Yeah,
Bedrock.
that's what I'm talking about. I can make your bed rock.
Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, like Tyga, like
That
there
was
like
the cool thing.
There was like
You guys ever
7
heard of
people on
Fast
that
Rap.
song.
That was the thing about.
Busta,
Yeah.
Busta,
A
not
little
really.
bit, but like I think where we've changed, and especially what's changed with hip hop, is like I used to be on Dat Piff all the time, downloading mixtapes.
Yeah.
Now everything is streaming, dude.
Yeah.
Like I went on Dat Piff the other month or whatever, and it's like not even the same. I don't know
No,
if it's just
nobody
me
releases-
being a grandpa
nobody
trying to
releases
navigate it now,
mixtapes
but it's like
anymore. It's all-
that's not the vibe.
Traffic.
What is it?
Traffic.
Oh my god.
All right, Paris, what's your
Honestly, you caught me 2008. This is my classic rock Metallica / Frank Sinatra phase. So I didn't get into hip hop.
Oh,
at
no.
all.
You
This
know
was
what?
me
I love
being
the honesty.
rebellious.
Okay,
This was
so
me.
let me throw
Yeah.
another one out there. 3-peat.
Yeah, but that's the first
3-peat
song.
Was but it set the whole tone.
It
though.
does.
It like
3P.
Oh, all right. I got one for you guys.
that is
about this?
that's the greatest
Yeah,
ad lib.
it's so-
Like
I
it's
do know all the
so
lyrics to that.
fucking
I do
hard.
know all
R&B
that.
song, comfortable on that fucking shit. Yes, I'm not saying that's the way you.
Oh,
Yes.
But it's all good when we making love.
he
Oh.
was kind of the first one to popularize the R&B feature,
Dude,
with
you
the-
know what was-
with the hip
Comfortable, I
hop.
know every lyric of
With
that
the
fucking
rap.
song.
Yeah.
dude. Comfortable is
Yeah.
fire.
I love that they did that.
timeless. Yeah,
I
you're
forgot
right.
who sang it. It's Robin Thicke. Maybe he sings it's an Animal sample of Misunderstood. Oh Lord, please don't let
Make
me
me
be
feel
misunderstood. That song's fire too.
Yeah.
But yeah, 3P. Okay, hot take here again. I always thought, and I'll stand by this, whatever they claim that he says at the beginning of a Millie is not right. But I swear he goes, macaroni. Like, I swear it sounds like macaroni.
Well,
It's
okay,
like,
well, what did he
yeah.
say after macaroni? We can break it down.
What do you mean?
You know what he says after mac? He said, "Mac, I'm
Macaroni.
going in."
Yeah, he does say Mac.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
no,
they
but-
say. But I
because the
swear
reason-
it does
the-
not sound like Mac, I'm going
That's
in.
the sample
The reason-
tag.
The
Yeah.
reason why I thought, what was it? I can't even remember.
Mac,
what,
going in.
I thought it was macaroni because I thought he says something like, I thought he like put on his words.
It was
because
what he says before it. I'm trying to think.
It was something to where, because I used to think the same thing, and I was like, it makes sense because he said something like, it was like almost like rhyming with yellow makes me think like I can't even.
Oh, yeah.
I don't fucking know, but one more time, pull up your car next to me real quick. Let me give you some gas. Gas. Guess what? We're going diesel. But all right, Paris. During this time period, we were listening to fucking nerd.
I was an 8th grade saxophone
Fuck.
player listening to Metallica and Frank Sinatra, dude. That was
bet you
my
smell like
that was my
Metallica.
dude. I was just I was killing it. I was a
Dude,
lax
I-
bro.
Hardcore.
Metallica.
You were living your
was
best
al-
life.
Right.
Metallica was always my gym music. Like
Oh,
that. Yeah.
Dude, that was my riding
Just
on my
going to
bike
that
because my
dark-
mom wouldn't take me anywhere music. Because I was like, oh, fuck, I got to go to the dollar store for batteries. Metallica, let's go, right? And justice for all, bitch.
Y'all remember what was y'all's first bike? It was always the short kind of trickster one, right? No one had.
Oh,
a
the
mountain
BMX
bike.
one?
Yeah, like
Where you
I had
could-
a Haro.
Where you could put the
bro.
pegs
I had
on it?
the-
Yeah.
I had the.
Yeah.
Everyone thought they were Max Hoffman for a
I
while.
could beat everybody in a race.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was gonna say I had some kind of off-road bike as my first one because I like growing up in. No, but
Talking
Yeah,
something
right.
over
I remember when
growing
I
up
was
in the
10, I
mountains,
got a
growing
little
up in the
12
mountains,
speed.
like going off those kind of jumps and shit. That was.
I remember the
fun,
first time I
bro.
crushed my face on the sidewalk. I was going to BCTC because I was late for a class, and I used to mountain bike a lot as a kid.
Okay.
And if you go down Richmond Road, there are these big like, so the sidewalk comes over, and it's where all the $1 million houses are. It's sidewalk, and then it's these big hills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I would always hit these hills and jump off
Okay.
the hills. So I bought my bike had just broke out, a Specialized mountain bike that I bought with like my last fucking paycheck.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great investment.
So my thing is this.
Damn. Shots.
So we
People only watching the video will understand.
but I took it off.
Yeah.
Shots
It
back.
is- yeah. So I hit this hill, and I'm killing it, bro. I'm fucking getting down there. I put a little card in the back, and I was like 19, still like wanting that flicker noise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I hit the hill, and the front wheel came down, caved in, bashed my face on the sidewalk, and cars just kept driving by. One guy actually drove by and yelled "fag." That was really good.
Mark that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But so this one lady that pulled over to check on me had 8 dogs in the car.
Nice.
Shit you not. She's like, "Do you need someone to help you?"
Was it Melissa McCartney from Bridesmaids?
You actually know that.
Yeah.
And she was like telling me about Saturday Night Live. But the thing is, she was she pulled over, she helped me get my bike, put everything in the car, and she was like, "Are you good?" I busted my 2 front teeth, and I had this big gash on the side of my head. She's like, "You need to go to the hospital." It was during finals. So I was like, "I've got to get to my final." So I walked into my class, and she's like, "Are you sure you're good?" She dropped me off at BCTC over there by Commonwealth Stadium, or Kroger Field now. And
Nope.
yeah, that's how long I went to school, boys. That's how long I went
Yeah.
to school.
Hey, you're showing your age.
Yeah, I should be a doctor. But she took me to school. And I remember walking in class, and I sat down. Teacher's handing out the papers, and as she hands out the papers, I'm looking down, and I drip a piece of blood on it. She walks by, and she was like, looks at me, she's like, "What the hell?" I was like, "No, I'm here." And she's like, "Your face is like," I looked at her, my tooth is chipped, and my head is bleeding. And I'm telling you, bro, never in my life have I just been considered more of a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Like I looked like I
Damn.
was in it.
Wait, what'd she say though?
So she put the paper down. She's like, "Do you need to go?" And I was like, "No, I'm ready for the test." And then I kept dozing off. And she's like, "All right." And then she picks me up, and then she takes me back out there. The lady with the dogs in the car is still waiting. And she yells at the car. She's like, "I've told you!" And then she drives off. She's like, "Who do you have here?" And my buddy, who was there in my class with me, walks out. He's like, "I got him." And I was like, "This was the day you had to vote too." And he goes, I kept telling him apparently before he took me to the hospital. He's like, "Dude," he was like, "You gotta go to the hospital." I was like, "No, bro, we gotta vote." I was
Right.
like,
We gotta vote.
Democracy, bro.
"We
Hold
gotta
on.
save
Yeah.
democracy."
You smacked your head real hard.
Oh, dude, I was in it, dude. I think at one point I even remember 3rd grade math, but that was a long way ago.
Damn.
But sorry, huge tangent. So we've got our songs. Paris is not good with rap.
True.
I do want to come to this real quick. So, Mr. Watkins,
Hello.
here's what we got over here. Okay, we have
For the first time in months,
Yeah, it's been a minute.
we are back to the bracket challenge. We have not forgotten about
We've
this
not
shit.
forgotten.
Okay, and we had an episode where Zach came in. He settled the first round. Okay. Full House beat Sons of Anarchy, and Danny Phantom beat That 70s Show. So we are in the second round of the
Wait,
bracket
hold
now.
on. And there's one over there.
Is there one on the other side too? Are we sure?
And
so
these
Fresh
and these are
Prince and Dave?
strictly
No.
we are
Oh, yeah,
basing
no,
the
he said
bracket
it was
on
Fresh Prince
just
and
their
Dave.
He said
just their
it
theme
was Fresh
songs,
Prince.
right?
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Fresh
just the
Prince.
intro theme.
was Fresh
theme
Prince.
song's
The intro-
so
Yeah, that's right.
Overall quality of the intro theme,
Like,
and
what
we
do
need to
they think
decide
of?
which one's better.
And we're not allowed to use the word nostalgia.
Yeah, because fuck you guys. You kept doing that shit.
No.
Nostalgia's
no.
evil is what you'll
Yeah,
come to
it really
realize
is.
in your old age, okay?
Right.
It's not good to reminisce.
Right, yeah,
No,
it's not good. Don't remember your past.
Okay.
Forget it.
We are
Push it into a
raw,
dark place and remember when
unbiased
you're
critics
on
here.
your deathbed.
Let's say this
There you
though. Taylor agrees with me that Scooby-Doo should have won that
Yeah,
shit.
that's
I'm
true.
sorry, scoreboard.
100.
Anyways, so we go
Whoever
on.
was there
so
that
what
day.
is the matchup that you? I'm sorry, scoreboard. So what matchup would you like to see?
We're gonna go with top left. We're gonna start right back at the start with good old Pokemon and Law and
Pokemon
Order.
and Law and Order.
And we're going with
Okay.
SVU, I'm assuming. Kung, kung,
yeah,
ching,
yeah,
ching,
yeah,
ching,
right,
ching,
yeah, classic.
ching.
Right. We got headphones, right? Can we?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
no, please,
like
yeah.
we're not all hooked in right here, but we can hear
on
it,
here.
and we probably have to bust this bad boy up. Wait, no, the Bluetooth's already up, so we're good. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. So first up, what do we got? We're doing Pokemon
got
or Law and Order?
Pokemon.
Princess Peach
We got Pokemon.
Showtime.
Top seed.
Star as Peach and take on show-stopping
We always play the
transformations.
ads,
Premiering
'cause we're
March
not
22nd.
monetized.
I'm trying to get money.
Just within the first 20 minutes or 20 seconds of the
I've got something to say. You know, I have already thought. I've got something.
All right, so we've already heard this one. Let's go ahead.
I mean, you get back-to-back episodes of that, and you listen to it each time because you have to, and you're still
If you
fucking
turn
banging
that
each
song,
time.
you're a racist.
Yeah.
But then
It's hard because this is an instrumental too.
Yeah.
Special victory.
Are you serious? Well, obviously it's got to be because of the context, you know. Like if this was just a hit, no affiliation to SVU, then I don't know. This is a pretty sensual song. No, you do not. You have a Dick Wolf sweatshirt. That is great.
he does.
I met some younger kids and they said, "Oh, Dick Wolf, that's funny." I was like, "You know, it's not just saying Dick and then Wolf."
They don't. Yeah, they don't even understand.
They don't
These
know.
fucking
They don't
kids,
know.
bro. So can I give my piece real quick?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna give a final vote just yet.
Look, we've already given our piece on these, so
But
absolutely,
not
lead it off.
comparatively
Lead it
together,
off.
though.
Lead it
Yeah,
off.
that's true.
It's hard because first of all, we're going with the instrumental versus this great anthem of a fucking
Yeah.
song, right? They
Anthem is a
create
great way to put
such
But
huge
but
vibes.
it's intro, so it's the whole
It
feel.
is.
It's video too. Like,
Now,
it's
here's my
the-
problem though. It's the comparison because you have to think of the context. Like when you're about to watch Pokemon, this anthem gets you going. You're like,
Yeah,
gotta catch them all, you know? Like
yeah.
we're ready. But then think about the
SVU
SVU.
is a
It
different
gets
show.
you
It's a
going
different
for
show.
the show. I'm gonna catch them all, baby. But literally, just like you have to think, like it fits so well with what you're about to watch.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
it isn't this, let's go like Pokemon is, but it's
But
also
it's
like
serious,
Like I'm
yeah.
ready for the
It's
first
serious.
junk junk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I will say, are we giving any votes yet, or should I let you guys
No,
talk
we can
first?
vote. We can vote.
Yeah, we've
If
already.
anybody wants to do a
we've already
rebuttal
been
on
here.
what I've
No,
said or
we've already
add to
been,
it,
We've already been here, so let's go ahead and
I got
vote.
to know before I can rebuttal. What are you going towards? Okay, I'll tell you what. So that was,
I'm leaning towards Pokemon right now.
Yeah.
But-
well, I'll put my 2 cents in on that. To me, something that's really important to me that your Meshi revealed to us is harmony. And the ability to harmonize on a song with your boys is something that I value much more than getting black people in trouble. so I personally go Pokemon as well, and that has no ties to my Japanese heritage at
that's
all.
funny. If you were to take like 8 other Pikachu's and put them in a lineup, I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, look,
Would you be able to pick the real one?
That's true. They're really hard to tell apart.
I'll go ahead and place my vote and just say that SVU just really captures the moment, and it puts an image in your mind for what's coming, and yet it still can't overcome the greatness
right.
and the harmonic moment,
The pure
of
elation.
the pure just joy of the
Yeah.
Pokemon song, and so it's an obvious vote. It's Pokemon.
yeah.
I think so because it has so much intention behind it. Like literally, to train them is my cause.
Yeah.
My life is in this thing.
Right.
And
And
I
Law and
feel
Order
it.
is like, you know what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know exactly what
Which
we're doing.
I'm like,
rude about it.
Yeah.
like there are some slicky little guitar licks in there,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
little
Yeah,
horn section. I like it. I like the ensemble they've created.
Yeah, right.
The bass line is what
Robert
really
playing
the
on
bass line is
Pokemon
the
is
bass
just-
line. If it wasn't for the bass line of SVU, it wouldn't even be in contention. But it sets a mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
So you
Well,
guys
I mean, you've
clearly-
got to because you're gonna lose anyway. So
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm just throwing something out there for you guys to ponder and think about.
For the people at home.
If you guys don't vote for SVU, you guys all like pedophiles. I'm just gonna say it.
That's
or we just prefer people that are gonna take over the world
Maybe we just don't want to think about.
Don't shake your glass.
Maybe we just don't want to think about it at all. We just want to fight little rats that we find in the jungle.
What would you? If it pops on TV, right? Here's how I always base it. If it pops on TV, you got the clicker right in front of you.
Yeah.
You go between channels. You hear that's so true, and you're like, you go by that to.
I'm not going by that though.
No,
I'm not going by that.
Who the
though.
fuck is watching cable?
I'm not going. I'm not.
Well, who has the remote that goes
Yes,
from Pokemon to SVU
Okay,
anyways?
Sputter, no one here
But
likes
even if that was a scenario
Good
that
save,
I
good save.
faced on a daily basis, if I'm not passing that up, the second I hear that intro, I'm not clicking to anything else. That's the whole fucking
a great
point.
point.
That's the whole point. Is if I hit
you go by
Pokemon,
that, you're singing that entire intro and then turning the
yes,
channel.
if I hit I hit Pokemon first and I hit that intro, I'm not changing the fucking channel. Like that's the whole point of an intro. Like that's why it's the better intro.
True.
Is because
Yeah.
if I hear that, I'm
I
fucking
can
staying,
start
I'm
singing to
staying
it,
tuned
yeah.
for the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staying tuned for the whole thing.
You got to be in a mood to watch SVU.
Yes,
Yeah.
And I've
You
seen a
gotta
lot
be
of
in
it
it.
at this point. I don't leave it on much anymore.
Yeah,
if I'm,
yeah.
It's not as I feel like as winter savvy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're rooting for
I've
the
got a-
downfall of someone.
I've got a segue question that might be good for you guys. I mean, not a lot, but do you guys ever find yourself in a hotel room?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what's the go-to channel on these shitty TVs that they give you? You know,
That's easy for me.
ESPN.
HBO after dark.
Yeah.
HBO after ESPN.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
for
the
me.
easiest that's the easiest shit. Like I'm the biggest sports nerd you'll
Okay,
ever
okay,
find,
that's
so.
okay. So that's true.
You can watch Sports Center on the TV.
Coming from a not sports
Yeah.
mindset, I guess, because I don't watch sports too much nowadays. But
Yeah, I got you.
yeah, I like to participate in events rather than watch them. But
Get him with the shit.
oh, you want to play golf or you want to watch it? But no, go-to is Shark Tank always. It's a throw from left field,
What's
but
the Shark Tank intro even?
oh, it's pretty good. It's
it
close
good?
to SVU, honestly.
Is it really?
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think they took their captions from Mind Freak.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we can all definitely say.
Okay, I
Pokemon's
think
Yeah,
Pokemon,
Pokemon
wins
won.
that. Yeah.
Pokemon's moving.
Yeah.
All right, Pokemon.
What a good competition, though.
Yeah.
Right?
It was. We had to talk about it.
Pokemon has beaten The Office and Law and Order, both instrumentals.
That's
so
a hard one.
let's
Yeah,
be
that's-
real.
Whoever made this bracket is obviously the one who has flaws.
Yeah. It's Brady.
Oh, I
He's not
love
even
it.
here to defend
Yeah.
Well,
himself.
here's
So
what we did.
Sorry, Brady.
Pokemon was clearly a 1 seed.
And you guys, are you looking for somebody to fill this seat more often?
Hey, come on through. Dude. But no, so we did it based off of how you would kind of look at like a Kentucky or a UConn team or whatever it is, and you put them at like the highest rank possible.
Yeah.
It's just based off of it's Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
And you got some sleepers. Like that's what Raven come out of left field, dude. With that R&B goddamn jam.
I know.
Dude.
Man,
It's
Bill
the future
Nye's
I
a
can
5
see.
seed, though. That didn't really deserve that.
I mean, Fresh
Avatar's a
Prince
4.
though.
Fresh Prince.
It's like no matter what, you will always. Everyone will know it forever.
Because we couldn't say nostalgia.
It was heated.
It got aggressive.
Yeah.
On
it was
Listen to the
rough.
podcast.
Yeah.
ask anybody in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
I told him this, dude. I told him this.
It's
I'm
pretty
saying
straightforward.
The bracket
Dave
is.
the Barbarian.
the
I don't
bracket
even
is
know
the
what the
bracket.
fuck that is.
And the scoreboard is the scoreboard. So whatever wins. That's all I'm saying. Okay. At the end of the day, it's whatever the scoreboard says. So I'm sorry if it doesn't go in the way you want, but that's gonna.
I swear to
that's a
God,
bracket.
if I leave and y'all let fucking Power Rangers be in living color, I'm not talking to any of you
Don't
guys.
disrespect
You're gonna
Power
have a
Rangers
time.
like
You're
that.
gonna have a tough
Don't
time.
disrespect Power Rangers
You're gonna
like
have a
that.
tough time with
Morphin'
that
Time.
one.
Yeah, come on.
We might not talk about nostalgia, but we'll talk about what we like.
In living color is literally. I'm not even
Don't
gonna.
you double
It's a
LB.
legendary.
Living color, literally. Don't you come to me with that.
It is. I mean, this was a huge moment in history
Oh,
for
it was a great
comedy,
show.
for
It was a
theater,
great-
for
yes,
improv, for
yes.
skits, for
But-
television,
but
for
as far as just the intro,
oh,
come
That's
on,
what we're
It's fire.
bro.
It's
Power
fire.
Talking
Rangers is
about.
better.
Okay, yeah.
Like, no,
They're
we're
fighting
going. We're not
aliens.
going
Like,
based
you
on
like
show.
aliens invading
We're
the
not.
planet?
We're not going strictly based
Maybe.
on show. It's the intro. So
look, I'm not gonna lock anything in place. Okay, I'm gonna leave it up in the air right
Yeah.
now. I'll sleep
We're
on
saving
it.
that for another week.
You call Zorg
you could have called that match up to the forefront.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys.
We're willing to take on that challenge.
Let's see what else we got.
Hey, did Golden Girls beat Captain Planet?
Hey, you want to go ahead and
No,
do
Captain
you want to
Planet
go ahead
won,
and,
yeah.
you want to go ahead and knock
Oh.
another one out? You want to go ahead and knock another one out?
I
I was
know,
just
we got
looking
a
at.
performance that we gotta get
But
to.
it's
Oh,
been,
yeah,
it's been
true.
a while. It's been a while.
I understand.
Taylor, it's up to you. What do you think?
I was saying if we do one, we could do a quick Rugrats versus SpongeBob.
Whoa, that's huge.
I know.
Ooh,
That's a
I
I
know.
like that. I like that.
Let's do it.
Okay.
This is
What's the higher
two
seed?
two
What's the
very
higher seed?
comparable. SpongeBob is 1. Rugrats is 4.
So SpongeBob goes first.
This
I
is
know.
very-
SpongeBob goes first.
Yeah.
Blum 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 blum.
dude.
Oh God, I don't
That's
know what I'm
huge.
gonna do.
It's a real good matchup because they're very comparable as songs as well.
same time period
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Right. Speaking to the mic.
Say it with your chest.
Aggressive.
I don't know what you have this arm for.
Here comes
anyways,
SpongeBob.
But
God, ads.
what is this? FanDuel?
Ads. We're not sponsored yet. We're good.
10% less on what? UKFCU? Let's go.
Plato's Closet.
Oh,
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Absorbent and yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants!
If nautical nonsense be something you wish,
SpongeBob SquarePants!
then drop on the deck and flop like a fish. Ready with SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nautical nonsense. Something you wish.
Welcome. Hey, I'm under a rock. I'm living with Patrick.
We're here to inform, you know? We're here
Thank
to
you.
inform.
I don't see a lot of straight ripping. What is that? The piccolo he's ripping on there?
on his nose there? Yeah. That's pretty solid.
All right,
I like
so-
that part. Yeah, right.
And
I like
then
that.
Now the Rugrats one is kind of tough because not gonna say messed up. Oh, dude.
in the video just adds so much to it.
It's the perspective of the video. Yeah.
And they do such a great job of making the
Yeah. You know, on this one, I feel like the video is really gonna be the deciding factor.
Well,
agree.
and
Yes,
both
I
of them
agree.
put just as much
I
effort
agree.
in.
Yeah, but the SpongeBob one, it's like kind of like you
And they-
know,
It's almost annoying.
one scene after another.
Here's
yeah.
here's
That
the
was the
great,
word.
Here's the great equalizing factor is they both have the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
And so that like that
Not
kind of
using that word.
it kind of eliminates but that's what I'm saying, it kind of eliminates that.
Because they both were right there.
True.
It's
Yeah.
both there.
Yeah,
So,
so we
like
can-
you
Yeah.
can't judge it based off of that. You
Right.
have to take both into account and then just judge it strictly based on the
I'm gonna throw it back to something we said earlier in the podcast that this is one of those things that comes out to just which one kind of is timeless and which one's not.
Yeah.
And Hunter said it best. To me, the SpongeBob one nowadays is just a little annoying.
Yeah.
It's
Really?
it did its purpose. It served its purpose as a child. We were all screaming SpongeBob SquarePants.
you hear that now,
But
when
now
you
it's
do it,
like it's not really like musically inclined. It's not
Yeah.
catchy. It's just the pirate kind of singing his voice over it. Yeah. Where you don't have this full on musical production like Pokemon.
It's like the baby shark doo.
Yeah.
And
it's-
same.
It does its purpose for the young viewer, but like not only does Rugrats still slap, like it just
But it
I
creates
feel like
that
Rugrats
sense-
had a genuine rawness about it that SpongeBob didn't have.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
it almost
agree.
appealed to
I
like
agree.
the stoner, like acidy, like psychedelic side that we grew up into, and then now
Like the
looking
more,
back,
like adult kind of joke around.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you're a kid. Because SpongeBob, to me, as I've gotten older,
It's a lot of capitalism. Like it
It's
really
very-
is.
yeah,
Like,
it's kinda like just
Mr. Krabs is all
cringy,
fucking,
annoying
like,
jokes now too.
Well, no, and-
weird.
and
It's
Dylan-
weird.
Dylan makes
Like,
a good point because as you've gotten older, and here's what I'll give to SpongeBob, which this is the show, not the intro, but the show has it's almost like a fine wine to where you'll see stuff like, for instance, the chocolate episode. I've laughed
Yeah.
now more at that episode than I
Yeah.
ever did as a kid.
Yeah.
The bubble bowl, all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, SpongeBob, what should we do next? He's like, naked. No, let's save that for real estate.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then Rugrats is still that kind of vibe when you look at it now.
That intro
Yeah.
just it captures
It's that inner
captures
child. You know what I mean?
yeah, it captures something that you can't put into words. Like there's that genuine innocence about being a child to where you don't know what the fuck is going on outside of your own world, outside of your walls that you live
They
in as
portrayed
a
that
child.
beautifully in that,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like I agree. Like
Were y'all were you guys Chance the Rapper fans early
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So
God.
10 Day, he's got the song. What's it called?
Yeah.
Nostalgia,
Yeah,
where he's like,
Nostalgia.
I still got orange and white cassette
Yeah.
tapes.
Yeah.
And so obviously when I hear that, he doesn't say Rugrats, but my mind goes to Rugrats
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
When during that same exact time period, right next to it would have been SpongeBob or something too. So
It
I'm
just
like,
didn't-
still
yeah.
Rugrats just holds
Oh.
a special
And I'll
place
say
for
this,
me.
I'll say
Like,
this.
Okay.
just like
I
I
see
go,
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like you're taking it back a level farther to where like even at that age.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I'm like,
you're
still
right.
to
You're
me,
right,
like I
though, because
hold
that
Rugrats
carried
as more
a different
important.
weight. It carried a different weight.
And you've got like
Yeah.
a real family dynamic where the kid's perspective is the show, where
Yeah.
SpongeBob is just
Yeah.
this character.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the show rather than the intro. But I think
But still,
there's so
it
much,
it
and that's
captures
that.
It
Unfortunately, that
captures
word we
Yeah.
can't say. But it's like,
But it captures that feeling of what's going on
yeah.
throughout the show. Like you
Well,
you
and
get
two,
that innocence in music itself.
I didn't
You
even
get
think
that-
about it, but you've
yeah.
got like the toy piano
Yeah,
too, like
yeah.
chung 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 chung
Yeah,
chung
you
chung.
you get that innocence of just everything can sound childlike and it doesn't matter.
But
When-
in a way, to you though, when you're that kid, everything sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That, like,
yeah.
That noise when you grew up that you end up hating was the same noise that used to bang on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's-
on some kid child
and
piano
Well,
that
lyrics.
doesn't make
There's
sense.
no
Yeah.
And think about it now, like
it's
we're.
behind SpongeBob.
That's crazy too
Well,
because
and-
without lyrics it still slaps.
I was
Like,
gonna
it
say,
does.
like thinking about it now, going back to like that timeless thing. It's like also coming at it from this like, let's look at what they were trying to do. It's like, okay, Rugrats is just simply creating a vibe.
Yeah.
SpongeBob is like,
Wow.
let's get these kids fucking going. First,
Yeah.
SpongeBob,
Yeah.
what are we watching right the fuck now? SpongeBob!
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, I can see that there might have been ulterior motives
factor, yeah.
in writing the
Yeah.
SpongeBob song. Like,
Okay.
it's not like they weren't just like, this is a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
dope song
Yeah,
about
yeah.
SpongeBob. They're like, we got to get their
You know,
attention.
I feel
we
like-
got to grab them
I feel like
fast.
this really hits on a lot of themes we've talked about in the podcast as well. Because
Yeah,
what I'm
true,
seeing is like
true.
SpongeBob is like this shout chorus thing where you almost expect like the blue white chant in Rupp Arena,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
where you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know exactly what you're gonna say. You're gonna say fucking
it's to get
SpongeBob
hyped.
SquarePants,
Yeah.
right? To get hyped, and it's like almost like make it akin to like, for example, Family Guy versus South Park, right? Like Family Guy and South Park had the same dynamic where it's like Family Guy. The world is so big that you're just like the jokes are anywhere. It could be anything. You never know. It's just like this big fanfare thing.
But they
whereas
approach
like,
everything from the top down.
right. Whereas
South Park approaches
it's like
everything from the
right from these
ground
kids up,
Yeah.
and it's like
Yeah.
Rugrats is the same way where it's like
Okay.
we're world
Yeah.
building.
Oh,
This is the same thing
wow.
as
That's
like
good shit.
playing music
Holy
in
shit.
This is like
Yeah.
playing
Shit.
music in Nashville when you're like like getting someone to like get excited about something.
SpongeBob!
Versus,
Why are
versus
we-
having right versus having a concert where you have everyone's attention, they're like absorbed in this thing.
So I'm
Right.
so
You
here
know what
I
I'm
am.
saying?
I'm just trying to play Rugrats.
Yeah.
When I'm stuck having to scream SpongeBob at the crowd just to get
Exactly.
them to tip me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
See, right.
You know what I'm saying, dog?
We've come full circle.
And
on
let me
this
say
pod.
this too.
Rugrats is
Think
Southern
about
psychedelic.
think
Yeah.
ab- you already know.
go. Let's
Think
go.
about Pokemon
Love
though.
it. Yeah.
They are getting you hyped. They're like, to train them is my
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you're learning like
Yes.
this like life
Yeah,
lesson.
you're-
Like if they were like, who is misunderstood and he doesn't always have friends,
Yeah.
SpongeBob Square, then you'd be like, my dude, then we might be picking SpongeBob
Yeah,
right now because
yeah,
we get to
true.
know SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
that's
no,
true.
it's like who lives in a pineapple? We fucking know he
Yeah,
lives in a
right,
pineapple.
right.
Like
Yeah.
we got that much.
Yeah. That's so true, though, man. When you really get the blend of both of them, that's when you know you have some like super
crazy.
special.
Where's
like,
the Pokemon SpongeBob song?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
where?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's plenty actually. SpongeBob hits like they've got the
Yeah.
I want to rock, and then they've got that the
So
orchestra one where there's
Right,
like.
right.
you. What's the like
my
thing? You know what I'm
pick-
talking
Bubble
about?
My
Yes,
pick-
that the bubble ball. I wasn't even registering what you were saying.
My pick for the combination of both of those would be Danny Phantom.
Because
Because that shit
it's a
is
whole story, dude.
it's a whole
Yes.
story,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's the music is dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rap.
When his parents
Yeah.
built a very strange machine that was
Somehow
designed
his
to-
hack
That
was
was like
funny. Yeah.
that was like
Yes.
that was also when hip hop was like first coming to
Yeah.
light, like
And the
first
white people
hitting
had
the
to
pop
steal it.
scene.
fucking
For Nickelodeon.
Yeah, they had to do
That's how
something.
Jake
They
got
had to
his
do
first start.
something.
That was him actually.
That's when he was still at NY or which New York University? What did he go to? Fuck, I don't remember.
He's from Raleigh.
No, but he went to New York University.
So
If you snap, it's a fact. That's what they say. If
that's
you point at someone and
Right.
snap, it's always a fact.
Anyways, we got a lot of ink to put on this poster now that we've like advanced
Gotta
2
get back on
rounds.
there, dude.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
right.
we
enjoyed that.
somebody
That was
stole
super
my
solid.
Sharpies. I don't know what happened.
Zach,
but-
goddamn stare guy.
He's a
All right.
Sharpie fanatic.
So what we got coming next is you want to promote something
Yeah.
that's coming
Yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah,
Enough
yeah.
Rugrats. More Watkins.
I like
hear
this.
about
Oh
what's
wait, we
going on.
didn't. No, he's right though. We didn't vote on that one.
I think we all.
think
came
we
down
all-
to that.
Yeah.
That's
Rugrats.
That was
It's
actually
unanimous. Okay.
that's
Which
an
is
upset.
sad.
That's
Okay.
Rugrats.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good, though.
yeah.
That's a good
Okay.
conversation on that.
I would
Okay.
say the vibe of the podcast carried this vote, but that's
Yeah.
okay too because that's what
That's
Stuck in
cool.
Static
That's
is about,
cool.
baby.
Y'all are gonna. I'm gonna
what-
leave, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck
what
him!
second-
I don't believe anything that guy was
Yeah,
saying.
right.
That's
That's
what
so
this
Nashville,
podcast
dude.
is.
What
Get
the
that
fuck is
fucking
psychedelic
hipster
southern?
van living piece of shit out of here."
That's what this podcast is. We've lived and died by it from day one, and we'll continue to
Yeah.
be the fucking.
All right. So going on, you're here for a reason.
88.
Obviously, you're not just stopping by for no reason. Although we are lovely, I know.
I came to
Great
town
host.
just for you guys.
Right, of
Stuck in
course.
static, and
for
I'm
no
never
other
leaving.
ulterior motives at all.
Never.
No.
So we're gonna get this out by
Besides-
tomorrow. So let's plug you a little bit.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys having me. I am here this week because I've got a big event going on. I throw an annual event here in Lexington. I would love to spend more time here and throw as many events as possible, but I found that it's been really successful for me to kind of do this one big hoorah every year. So I've been calling it Lexington Indie Night. I've been hosting it out of Old North Bar located in Gray Line Station. So this Saturday, which is March 9th, we'll be starting things up at 6 o'clock. I've got all these local vendors involved, all these local vintage clothing people. So a bunch of my friends who make art, pottery, painting, knickknacks, whatever it might be, handmade goods. I've got a lot of booths set up for them, local artists. Support as much love as you can. Come out and check them out. But also I've kind of geared this one this year to be more of a vintage clothing theme.
Ooh.
So I've got about Silky Boy's
Oh,
good
they
friend
are?
of mine.
Oh,
yep.
let's go.
Grimm's Collective, his buddy.
Hey, they've been on the pod. so-
Yeah, Pierce is a good dude.
Yeah.
He's got some mutual friends of mine actually from Nashville, and we ended up finding out that we were friends of friends. And so I try to support him when I can. He makes some really cool shit. He does. But yeah, like I said, I've got about 10 to 15 vintage clothing dealers. So I pretty much have just looked for, over the years, the people that I think are collecting the coolest and like hottest vintage clothes around here, and reached out to them and got them all curated for this weekend, and got some fantastic musicians. I've got So It Was out of Louisville. They're really phenomenal. They're gaining some traction out of there. A local band, Townsville Turner. They're fucking incredible. Dylan, he's insane. You guys should look into Townsville Turner. And then I've got a good buddy of mine, John, who's the lead of Sunmates. They're incredible as well. So Sunmates, Townsville Turner, and So It Was. And then I'll be headlining the show with a full band. And this will be my first time in 2 years with a full band since all that fun Nashville stuff. So yeah, so just been, like I said, been trying to feel out the vibe and just start to collaborate with people that I actually vibe with rather than just grabbing anybody in sight and trying to make it work. And
well, look, man, I know I'm free Saturday. We'd love to be a part of this. So
Yeah.
like, anyway, just to support you. Like we don't.
Yeah,
doesn't need to be
100%.
anything about us. Like let's just.
Yeah, and
It'd
I
be
told
fun.
Hunter,
It'd
you
be
guys
fun.
always have an opportunity to come, blow up shit for the podcast,
Yeah.
get people aware and just spread the word there. But any event I have, you guys are always welcome. But like I said, it's going to be a good time. It's free. So come check it out. It's going to be 6 to 11. And like I said, got some really cool stuff. I've been practicing with a band, some of my really good homies out of town. Not only are they good homies, but like I said, I'm working with some people who also have some bands of their own. Working with Jesse, the drummer of Lilac. He's drumming for me. I've got Kyle Buck, the taxidermist. He's playing bass for me. And then one of my childhood best friends, Kyler Davis. He's really well known in the Cincinnati music scene with his band, Misnomer. So kind of getting this little super group together, and they're really helping me out. So don't know how much like we'll tour with this band or anything, but anytime I'm around here now, I think we'll play as this group.
All right.
I want to say one more time. So say that location and say it one more time.
Yeah, so Lexington Indie Night this Saturday, March 9th, starts at 6 p.m. at Old North Bar. That's in Gray Line Station, north side of town. Really good, cool spot. Great bar. We'll have some drink specials. We're doing giveaways at the show. One of my buddies who owns some really sick cabins out in Red River Gorge, he is donating a night stay. We're just having people put their names in and do drawing for that. So just some fun stuff. And I mean, it's free. Mainly just I try to curate some of the artists in town that I think are doing cool shit. Some of the music that I would actually listen to coming out of town. Absolutely. So it's just, you know, for me with this event coordinating, you know, power just with my network that I've built over the years, I honestly, you know, I'd want to see these shows put together. I'd want to see these artists being. And so if I can use my platform and my community and my network of people to put stuff like this together, that's what I'm going to do.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, well, no, go ahead, because I'm with.
I was just going to say, so everyone, once again, Taylor Watkins is joining us here. An amazing artist doing everything he can to promote his talent and also support local talent as well. Get them at Old North Bar. This will be this Saturday, March 9th.
Yep.
Get there. Let's have a great time. And we got a special treat for you.
Yeah, we're gonna take one more quick break. We're gonna get him set up to play a couple songs for you all. So we got a special treat for you all.
Let's do it.
Let's
we'll
go.
Be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go, baby. Everybody, we are pleased to announce Taylor Watkins.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to play a song that I just released. This is a new single called Coyote. This is on the upcoming record, and who knows when that'll fucking come out. There'll be snow on the freeway, miles away back to Maine. Or maybe drive on the Teton Valley through the mountains, been calling my name. When you feel it, say something. There's no truth in saying nothing. Someone's love is clearly coming. You can't leave. And I learned through all this running, there was beauty right in front of me. And as much as I want to go, I can't leave. There'll be rain on the windshield, Coyote sleeps on the dash. I think we'll stay in these Blue Ridge Mountains to help us forget the past. When you feel it, say something. There's no truth in saying nothing. Someone's love is clearly coming. You can't leave. And I learned through all this running that as much as I was chasing something, there was always a home inside of me. I was right there with you humming.
That song that you were always lost in, and you still right beside me in the passenger seat. In the passenger seat.
Yes.
That was awesome, man.
Appreciate the love on that.
Hey, man.
You got one more for us, or you wanna get this thing
Please.
rolling?
Yeah, I was telling you guys I've got a new one I'm working on.
Okay.
And this one's kind of a funnier one, kind of a sad, funny one, like we were talking about earlier. But this one's called Blue Jeans, and this is about, is all the like fucked up shit you go through mentally. Is that just, it's kind of the nature versus nurture thing of like, was I just gonna inherit these bad feelings no matter what my life turned out like, just because of my DNA, or
Yeah.
is this something that I can control, or is it environmental? There's always the what ifs and whatnot, but basically, this song's about when you get to the point where bitching and complaining about it doesn't really help anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This one's called Blue Jeans. Nowadays, I stay wearing my grief. My shirt's been stained with shit for a week. My dirty laundry's starting to stink, but I'm too stoned to care. My nerves are nearly reaching the peak. The floorboards are starting to creak. My heart is hardly keeping a beat, and I'm screaming for air. I've reached the point where even bitching doesn't help. When you created your own hell, it's hard to leave. And I feel my aching soul wearing my body like a shell. Just wondering what it takes to get clean of these blue jeans. No time left to reflect, no mind of mine left to protect. I'm praying wires start to connect to correct my blank stare. I fake and play the part for each scene, too drunk to see my grass is still green. In a rush or I'd see what I mean, but I really am wearing. And I feel my aching soul wearing my body like a shell. Just wondering what it takes to get clean. And I've reached a point where even bitching doesn't help. When you created your own hell, it's hard to leave. And I feel my begging soul wearing my body like a shell. Just wondering what it takes to get clean of these blue jeans. These blue jeans. Thank you, guys. And those are some more like simpler, country or kind of acoustic songs. But those have been some ones that just kind of came out recently and been a good reflection of what's going on.
The world needs more of that introspective thoughtfulness. Like the music industry as a whole is a reflection of a bigger problem. Yeah. And it's all glitz and glam and who's got the most money and who can shake the most ass and sell the most fucking records. And the world needs more people who are putting their heart and soul into their music like you are. And that's the sad thing is that's not the normal thing anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I don't go into these songs writing like
No, but
with a hit in mind, obviously. But
that's the thing is like you're not trying to be somebody you're not, and that's respectable.
well, I sure fucking appreciate it.
Yeah.
And obviously, thank you guys for
Absolutely, bro.
letting me talk and bitch on this platform.
Yeah,
No,
let's go.
look, that's
Hey, here's my biggest
that's
insight
what we're best at.
into this live performance right here. The first time on Stuck in Static history.
Absolutely.
Thank you
First
so
time.
much.
That was
for
cool.
Shit.
That was cool
Incredible.
as shit.
First time.
Right?
Thanks for letting me do it.
But there's a difference between listening to something raw and on like a streaming site like
It is.
Spotify or something like that, right?
That gave
And
me a different perspective.
You can really
Gave me
get a different perspective when you have the live show, and I think that's the advantage of any of this music that like you're really passionate about is that like when you go out there and you play it, you know that people will feel it. Versus like someone that hits on the radio, whatever hits on Spotify, it's cool, but like real genuine music, it's not that it's hard to come by. But like it's not popularized, and you got to go out
not.
to see these things.
You have to seek it.
Just like Saturday, March 9th, 6 p.m.
Yeah.
at Old North Bar.
Yes, sir.
You can find this man doing
That's-
exactly that right there, live in front of a whole audience. So check him out.
And give me the old follow too at the
Yeah,
band
and guys,
Watkins.
Yes,
band
at the band
Watkins.
Watkins.
At the
And
band
guys,
Watkins.
let's make this a point. Let's all be there. Let's all
do
be
it.
there.
Yeah,
Saturday.
thank you guys. No, I
Yeah,
appreciate
like
it.
that.
In any way that I can ever support you guys,
Yeah.
you already know that I will. If I can help you guys with my platform and my community of people, then I will. So, and
We
every
appreciate
time
you.
I'm back in town, if you want me back on, I'll do this anytime.
hell
It's fun
yeah.
shooting the
Gladly.
shit with you guys.
Look,
This is a
as
blast,
fun
man.
as this has been, anytime, man.
yeah,
anytime.
seriously.
All right.
Yeah. Well, guys, that is Stuck in Static. And one more shout out to the band Watkins. Find them on Instagram
Let's
at the
go.
band Watkins.
Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, whatever. Find them and get in tune. Let's
Well, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next time.
Hit that outro music. Let's hear
go,
it. Let's
baby.
go. Stuck in Static. Another week with you with the band Watkins himself. I'm going to keep talking until Dylan finds the page that has the outro music on it because that's what we do here at Stuck in Static is we ramble on until we get to the point where we need to be. And that is right now, I hope, because I'm running out of words to say.
We're going.
The band Watkins. Saturday, March 9th at 6 p.m. Go see Watkins himself. Good night, everybody. Don't
That was fucking awesome, boys.
Let's go.